From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, even though we're in the final days of the Switch, there's still a hell of a lot of games coming out. And it's also the 1-year anniversary of Tears of the Kingdom.
I found myself in the courtroom this week, and I loved it.
I'm skipping along the Scottish hillsides.
Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast episode 422, your place to hear Nintendo fans still talking about new Nintendo games that are still releasing, even in this time. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey Animal Vengance Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Ska Defender Makowski.
I'm John Highlander Knitter.
And I think this week, let's just start off with the news.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Changing it up.
Well, we did that last week, too, because our news was big, so we put it at the beginning. So anyway, what's going on with the news this week? I did say there's a lot of games releasing, which I didn't put
we got some good deals.
Didn't put all of them down.
Parable. Stanley Parable is on sale for $12.99, half off. So anybody who was intrigued by my description of it the last couple of weeks, now's the time. And it's good until May 19th.
That's my birthday. It's on Sunday.
Happy birthday.
It's coming up.
Happy birthday.
Humble Games is having an anniversary sale. What's all included in that? I know Signalis. You like Signalis a lot.
I did, yeah, when it came out.
Yeah, so a bunch of their games are in there.
Yeah, I didn't really look over it. It was just I just saw that they had like an anniversary thing, and they're having a whole bunch of sales.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. Wasn't that like 2008 or so, 2009? What is the anniversary? Is it 15 years for them? Oh, the company's 4th anniversary. Okay, that's not exactly true.
It's longer than that. It's not 4 years. It's more than 4 years. The Humble is older than this podcast.
Yeah. This is, according to Nintendo Life, they say the company's 4th anniversary. So they must be marking from the moment they became a publisher, which I guess that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, there's a bunch of stuff on sale. So check your wish lists and see what you can find in there. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's some pretty decent sales in there.
And Minecraft is having a 15th anniversary sale. So everything is up to 50% off for the Minecraft games.
Yeah, 15 years. Jeremy, does that mean you'll play Minecraft again sometime? It's been a minute.
I might finally play Minecraft for the first time.
No, I mean again. You played a lot of it.
Oh, again?
But
no,
for
I do need to play it again.
15 years anniversary. They're adding stuff to it. I mean, I
was hoping they would have like some crazy PS5 version, because if they did, I would own it already. Like if it had all the ray tracing and shit, but they haven't done that apparently. Or if they have, I don't know about it, but
I mean, I don't know how much
that would bring me back.
I don't know how much of an effect it would do with those whatever you call them graphics that they have.
I don't know. Look up ray tracing online in Minecraft. It's amazing. You'd be amazed.
Ray tracing voxel graphics, like those pixels really pop or something.
It just gives it a lot more natural atmosphere because things look so unnatural, and you sort of like get over that when you're playing the game. But when you add the more realistic lighting, it just, I don't know, it changes a lot. At least visually.
I can see how it makes it look. I've seen videos of it. Kind of makes it look more like a diorama, like.
Yeah. You're actually walking around in those, makes it more realistic, I guess. But, as absurd as it is, it's still realistic.
It makes Steve feel like a character you can relate to.
He has real-time pixel beard growth.
The Xbox 360 store is having a closing sale because the store goes offline in July. Up to 60% off Xbox 360 games, not Nintendo, but worth mentioning because a lot of you out there probably have a 360. And Jeremy, I know you do.
I do.
Yeah, take a look and see what games you can get for ultra cheap on there.
For
maybe
physical,
not.
Wait forever.
for like physical 360 games.
Download.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're still.
I'll look, but
They're
like
still
I don't
available.
know. Every time I boot up my Xbox, I'm scared I'm going to wake up my neighbors across the street. It's so loud.
Or it might just come on with those 3 rings of death when you turn it on.
Or it'll just like
It'll be
fly
like-
up through the ceiling.
Let me die. It'll just yell at you when you turn it on. I'm sure any of those games are available on other systems now.
I feel like I did a pretty good job squeezing that Xbox 360 shop dry, but I'll still take a look. I mean, there's got to be some lists online of like
Of stuff that didn't make it
of
over.
games you can only get there, right? Or
There's probably
or,
a couple still.
If it's Xbox exclusive, I don't plan on getting an Xbox anytime soon. Although the Xbox itself, I think, is probably going to be gone. I would think, based on what seems to be happening.
Yeah, things aren't going
There
great
may
for
not
them.
be another Xbox after this.
Things aren't going great for them. Well, as we talked about last week with them, just kind of closing off companies that maybe shouldn't have been closed. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they don't really know what to do. They can't get a win.
I think they're backing out of the game console space, and they've been doing it kind of slowly for the past couple of generations, but I think it's going to happen. Like, this will be the last Xbox. I mean, it was already like a streaming box pretty much when you got it originally.
Yeah. I mean, it peaked with the 360.
It did. And the 360 won that generation for sure. I mean, some people say the PS3 had better games, especially towards the end, but as far as like being like a reliable place to find new fun stuff, it won that generation for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely a lot more people had 360s than PS3s. That's for sure. I mean, well, without counting like the Wii in there, I mean, a lot of people had that too, but it wasn't really.
I mean, by the time I got a
Yeah.
360, I just had such a crazy back catalog of stuff to explore that it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I went the PS3 route because I liked the PlayStation exclusives better than the 360 stuff.
Well,
And-
at the time, also, it was just a lot cheaper to get an Xbox. That's why I chose the Xbox as well. And I had friends who had Xboxes more than PS3s.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it for a second, but I realized that all the games I wanted to play weren't on there. Like I wanted to play the Yakuza and the Infamous and those type of games, and they weren't there for 360. So I went for the PS3, but I went for it like way late when it was like $200 and not $600, and I had plenty of good times with it.
I'm pretty sure I got my Xbox for less than 100. I mean, it was used,
But I know, like, yeah, a lot of people, made the jump to HD with that system, with the 360.
Well, one system we all had was the GameCube, and that GameCube-looking controller for the Switch, the Nitro deck, is on sale this week for a good $30 off, down from $89 to $59. So anyone who's
you're talking
curious
about
that,
the whole Switch dock or whatever that it is,
Yep,
like
the
where
dock,
it
yep.
flips in there.
The big thing,
Yeah,
the big thing about the Nitro deck is that it doesn't drift. Like, it has Hall effect joysticks and that sort of thing, and a lot of people seem to really like it. Like, I don't play handheld enough to really care about it, but I know that a lot of people really like it. But also, the big thing for me is that it doesn't fit into the dock. So that's kind of another thing where it's like, why would I want to get that? Because then I have to take it off whenever I want to put it in the dock, and I have like 4 docks here. I use those all the time, but a lot of people really like them. I mean, the most that it looks like GameCube is the one. There's like a purple one that has like a C stick, but no, I mean, I know, like, what was it, a friend of the show, Shake, got like a pink one or something like that, or teal, or I don't know. There's a bunch of different colors. A lot of people really like them, but yeah, they're on sale now for like a pretty decent
Jake
amount.
likes his, right?
Yeah, no, he talked really well of it when he got it. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't heard him mention it lately, but I mean, no, I mean, a lot of people really like it. Like I said, I don't play enough handheld to warrant the purchase of it. It's like $10 off for some of them are $49 and some of them are $79. So I don't know what the difference is between the different ones, but
there's one on Amazon. One was listed at $89 and down to $59.
okay, because I'm looking at
I
one
see
right
different
now
deals out there.
from the link that was on the thing that says $79 marked down from $89.
Yep. Maybe
That's
they
that's
changed it.
that's the one with carrying case. That's why it's so much more. But there's also the regular one. You can get the black one for $49, which is even cheaper. Anyway, yeah, if you care, go check out the Nitro deck. I don't know. People seem to like it. So good for them.
New release this week. I think we're all interested in this one. PO'd.
Yeah,
it's coming out actually tomorrow.
Yeah, PO'd. Well, that's the latest of Night Dive Studios. I've loved everything they've done. They do a lot of old school first-person shooter games, and this one is. I'm not really sure about this game. It looks like an angry chef or something from the cover, and
I just remember it from GamePro. I was always intrigued by it, and I always confused it with Postal.
So this is a re-release of an old game.
Well, yeah, I mean it's like it's a Night Dive like remaster. So they've done things to it to make it look.
I didn't
Looks a lot
realize this
like
was a
Doom.
separate series from Postal until probably 2005 or so, like way late.
Yeah. But I'm intrigued by it. I mean, I like everything that Night Dive has done, like I said, and I really like first-person shooters. And there's another one that came out this week as well that's in the news, so I can mention it already, and that's Slayer's X Terminal Aftermath Vengance of the Slayer. Not Vengeance, Vengance. It's spelled wrong on purpose. And that game came out actually late yesterday. I was surprised by how late it released, because normally it would have been out, like I kept checking throughout the day, and I don't think it was released until like 6 or 7 p.m., like at night. And I was like, what the hell? But no, I played it last night, and I fucking love it. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful, awful game. Like, it's so good. It's
So wait, is that also by Night Dive?
No, this is actually by the same people who did the what's it called? Hypnospace Outlaw, which is like that point and click game where you where basically it's like you were in the 90s and you're clicking through a website, and it's like an old computer that you're on. And this is actually a spin-off of that. It's based on a character from that game. It's based on Zane, which is a character from Hypnospace. So actually you can get a bundle now where you get Slayer's X and Hypnospace, and you get Hypnospace for $5 marked down from $20. So I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. It got reviewed pretty well, so I ended up getting it for $5. But I haven't tried it yet. But I really like.
You haven't tried it.
But I like Slayer's X a lot. That game is awesome. It's it takes a lot to I don't know, to make a game bad on purpose, but still make it like playable, and that's kind of what they've done with this. As I was playing it last night, I never played Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, but this kind of made me feel like this was the Plumbers Don't Wear Ties of first-person shooters. Like, it's really aiming. And Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, they've been trying to be good, right? And they ended up being bad. Like, this is like a company trying to make... I mean, the idea is that Zane made... So this is supposed to be like a mod of Duke Nukem or something like that you would make in the 90s. So it's like a very, like, edgelord 90s type of game. It's kind of like Postal Brain Damage, but it like sets itself apart as in it's supposed to be a game that was recovered from a long time ago. It was supposed to be like he made this game and he never finished it, and then he just finished it now, and now it's been released, and that's why you can play it now. But it very much feels like Duke Nukem in that way, like that sort of style. It has like the pixel characters on like 3D backgrounds and all that, and it has a lot of like Duke Nukem references in there. Like, you can stand in front of the mirror and press X, and it'll be like, man, I look awesome, like all that sort of stuff. And it's obvious the game is made by this Zane guy, and the game is all about how great Zane is. So it's supposed to be like, you're a kid and you think you're the coolest person ever. And he's a part of these group of Slayers, like him and his friend and his other friend, and they all die in the game. And of course, he's the one that lives because he's the best Slayer out of everything. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. I got like halfway through it last night. I played through like 4 or 5 levels, but it's it's one of those things that it's obviously trying to be bad, but it's still incredibly addictive in its badness. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's like on sale for $14. It's pretty cheap, and yeah, if you like those old dumb 90s games like I do, but not bad. Like, I watched a trailer of this, and I even put the music from the trailer in last week's episode, just because I love the song that was on there. It's very much trying to, be that 90s alternative. And hopefully you like that song, because that song is all over the game. Like, it's in the background through the whole first level. It's in the menu. Like, you hear it over and over and over again. I think there's posters of the band in some of the rooms that you walk through in the game. But I've seen this type of thing tried before. You know, like there's this other series of games on Switch that's really bad. It's another like first-person shooter where it's supposed to be like, oh, you found an old like floppy disk that has this old video game on it, and here you are, you're playing this 90. It's terrible. That's kind of like what this game is trying to be, but it just does it so much better. And there's like you can like turn the violence up to where everybody explodes into like little body parts whenever you shoot them, which is pretty amazing too. So it's basically, it kind of feels like you're doing a Mortal Kombat fatality on everybody. If you remember like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, where they would explode and just become little chunks, that's kind of what happens in the game. You'll see little chunks, little like head and arm and leg parts or whatever. But yeah, that released on Tuesday. Get that one out there. Oh yeah, and one of the coolest things I've ever seen, actually, this is the coolest thing I've seen out of all the first-person shooter games that I've played. There's this gun called the Glass Blasta with a Z, the Glass Blasta, and it's a gun that shoots glass. But the coolest thing about it is that you can break windows to get new ammo. So there's a whole bunch of windows in the game, and when you break a window, you get ammo for the glass gun. Like that's the coolest thing I've seen. Idea. Like I've never seen anything like that in any first-person shooter. And there's windows everywhere.
That's really cool.
And if you need more ammo, you just use because you have this little you have like this Z sword or whatever. It's kind of like your melee weapon, and you can actually power that up too, and you can shoot people with it, kind of like Zelda style, where you like fill up all your hearts and you can throw like a beam from your sword. But you can like if you're out of ammo, you can just break glass with your little sword and fill up your glass gun by breaking glass, and that counts for like TVs and like monitors and like it's everywhere. Like you can really collect glass from all over the place, and I was like, that kind of really blew my mind. Like out of this game that's supposed to be dumb, but then it has this brilliant glass gun that you can just break glass to refill it. I was like, that's really cool. So
is it pretty like low powered?
No, I mean it's like a shotgun. It's basically the equivalent of the shotgun. So no, it's not low powered. It's good.
Not at all.
I mean the shotgun is always my favorite weapon for any of these first-person shooters, and the equivalent on this one is the glass gun. And it's cool because when it reloads, it shows you like putting the glass. You can see like all this broken glass in the back of the gun, like when they put the back on. It's a cool game. So yeah, I did like take hold of the releases there just to remember that. Oh, and also not on the list here, but we should mention Lorelei and the Laser Eyes came out today too, and that's getting some really good reviews cool. as well.
Oh, I remember. I think we saw that in an indie direct, right?
Yeah, it was in I think it was in like the last one. It's like a Resident Evil style, a survival horror like a puzzle type game. And it's getting reviewed really, really well. So I mean, that's what I was talking about. How there's like too many, even though the Switch is almost supposedly almost dead or whatever. There was like still a shit ton of games coming out like this week alone that were totally worth playing. There's other ones that from last week that I haven't even mentioned yet, like Animal Well and Little Kitty Big City, and there's still so much to play on the system. That's and like good ones too. It's not just they're not just throwing garbage out there. But yeah, no. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and also Biomutant. Like I'm really interested in that game too. That's an old PC game, but apparently it's ported really well to Switch. It was done by the people who did Mortal Kombat. So Saber, those guys. Saber did it. So it's a decent port. It was another one of those like impossible ports, sort of thing. So yeah, lots to play on the releases for this week,
including some Game Boy games that we all got for the NSO.
Yeah, new Game Boy games.
Yeah, all the launch games from the Game Boy. So Alleyway, Baseball, Super Mario Land, and if you're in Japan, or if you are crafty with your accounts, you got the Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls, the famous one that forerunner to Link's Awakening. Yeah,
I've actually listened. I mean, the Retronauts did an episode about this. I'm sure you heard it too, Jeremy, where they talked about the frog, whatever it's called. Because there's references to it in Link's Awakening. This is kind of another like knife in the back Mother 3 story again, because plenty of people want to play this game, and Nintendo's like, no English translation, but here it is.
There is an English translation. Of course, it's not official, but you can find one.
From Nintendo is what I mean. That's what I mean. Official, no. Well, yeah, there's an English translation for everything.
No, not necessarily.
Well, most games, yes. Most games there are, but not this one. I'm just saying Nintendo is kind of knifing you in the back again, being like, here's this game that a lot of people want to play, and here it is in Japanese. So,
So I actually remember the first time I ever put a game emulator on a cell phone was because my friend Max, who was on an episode a really long time ago, like towards the beginning when we talked about
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was showing me like this is like back in the day when everybody just had these really crappy like slider Android phones or whatever. And he was playing like that game, and I was like, "Are you playing Link's Awakening?" He's like, "No, this is For Whom the Frog Tools," or whatever you guys said. And I was like, "Wait, I want to play that. How are you doing that?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I have a Game Boy emulator." I was like, "You put emulators on your phone? What?" And then he taught me how to do it, and then I put that game on there, and then I never played it. I like never played any games on there because the controls weren't right for playing games.
I remember you were playing
keypad.
You played a Pokemon on your phone one time.
Yeah, I had a Pokemon on there too, yeah.
I remember you talking about that. We were on the bus in Chicago somewhere, and you showed it to me. And you had it was around the time of of that one show because everything was called like Put a Bird on It or something like that, or it was similar to
Portlandia.
Yeah, like they had references to Portlandia on there. I remember you showing me that. So you did play.
Yep, that's totally it.
Played enough for that. But new games for Game Boy. And I, first thing I did was ran through Super Mario Land in about an hour, maybe less. I don't know. I didn't really time it, but.
Did you use did you use Rewind or anything?
I did Rewind, yeah.
So did I. So I got through it in less than 20 minutes today, I think.
Oh yeah, I didn't time it. I just
it's an extremely short game.
Yeah, I just booted it up and I was just like, oh, let's just play through it. And I died. I mean, I still died plenty of times, but I just rewound it, to wherever it was and then redid it and blah blah. And you mentioned in the Game Boy episode, which will be out sometime on the Patreon.
Sometime.
It's that there's 12 levels in there, and there's four sets of 3. So and I was right, it is Japan. You 100% go to Japan when you go to a place.
It is
in
Japan.
The 4th level.
Just I don't know why I always thought it was supposed to be China, because I think it's the music sounded more
Chinese.
No, but the music is the Japan song though. The like that's the fucking, that is like the racist "Let's Think of Japan" song. They play it in the Wolverine game on Super Nintendo when you go to Japan. They play that exact same song, and also there's bamboo everywhere in the background, and you have the little Japanese guys jumping around. But no, it's 100%. It's 100%
you associate
Japan.
More with a tropical island kind of situation.
But I know I played through it. It was it's still that weird Mario game that I like so much. But it's and all the all the noises. Everybody's like bah, 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 whenever you shoot them, the bosses. I love it.
Yeah, the bosses sound like bleeding sheep.
They sound like dying sheep. Yeah, whenever you shoot them, especially in the shoot 'em up levels where it's you have the submarine level and you have the airplane level too at the end. And it's still a pretty quick one. But I mean, back in the day, I don't think I ever beat it until I don't know. I might have beat it on Super Game Boy, or maybe I didn't even beat it until I got it on 3DS, and had save states and all that. I didn't beat it when I was a kid, but yeah, there it is. Finally, Super Mario Land 1.
So it's certainly the first time I've played that game on the big screen, and I was a little more interested in the graphics. Like when you see them up close, they're very different than NES sprites. I mean, obviously they're monochromatic and they're maybe not as high resolution. That's whatever it is. But I noticed they were kind of transparent. Like they were just the lines, sort of like the way it is on Atari. Like when stuff will overlap, it just kind of it's it's empty on the inside or whatever. It's just an outline. I just noticed that for the first time ever in this game that the enemies just have more of a I don't know how else to explain it other than it almost reminds me of the way the enemies were in Atari, but not to say there's anything wrong with that. It's just seeing the Game Boy graphics blow it up like that, especially a launch game or whatever. They were working with technology they didn't quite have down yet, I guess, but it's very interesting, how much more it feels like the first Mario than any of the other subsequent Mario games besides Lost Levels.
Sure.
It just has a lot of those quirks. You can't walk left, and there's Goombas, and those ninja guys scare me. Still,
the ones from Japan.
They're like undead ones.
In which part?
You like stomp on them and they just kind of flatten and then they stand back up.
They can't be killed. Yeah, those guys are.
And they can like come after you too. The only way you can get rid of them is like jump over them or jump on them when they're like right by an edge, and sometimes they'll fall off the edge.
I was just running past them. Once I jumped on one and it came back to life, I'm like, I'm not fucking with you anymore. So I just kind of like just tried to move as fast as I could and just get past them, just get them to where they get cut off on the edge of the screen, and then they won't come back. So that's kind of what I did. But yeah, you had all those a couple different variants of the Easter Island heads chasing you. Like you have like the front facing ones and like the side ones that like run, and there's the like, there's the rocks that fall that you have to, and there's that one where you got to fight, that's an Easter Island guy too, right? Where you gotta stay on the rocks and shoot him. Like, I guess you don't have to shoot him. You could like jump over and do. I just did I did the bouncy ball shooting, so I could hear him go, bah, bah, all the sheep dying, yeah. And then like the characters where you kill them and they're like, and then they like fly away and make that weird sound, and yeah.
It is really funny. You jump on
a
a
bad
guy, kind of like falls onto the ground for a second, then he goes, meh. And it flies off the screen.
Yeah, I always thought that was cool when I played it. I like the weirdness.
It's got its own personality for sure.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, like I said, it feels the most like the original Mario, just so bizarre and so surprising at the time with the stuff they did. John, I think you mentioned like when you jump on the turtle, then it blows up. It's like,
I mentioned that. I like that it was different, that it went different ways. Instead of kicking the shell, it's like, oh no, it's going to explode at you. So like if you're used to like jumping on it, it's going to blow up in your face. I like that.
I think we all know it was developed by Gunpei Yokoi and his team.
Yeah, that's his name on the credits.
Regular Mario team. Yeah.
Not to mention, Chip Tanaka did the soundtrack. Speaking of like how great those songs were, like that first level was really good. That credits song was really good too. At the end of it, I mean, the whole soundtrack.
Go again? I forget.
I'm not gonna hum it to you because I don't know it. I'm just saying that when I listened to it yesterday, it was pretty cool. When I beat the game,
I think it's the Second World's music that I like the best. Do 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 do.
Yeah, it's got a good beat. Yep.
I mean, all the songs are good. Yeah, but when I was watching the end of it with the credits, I was like, oh, this credits music is good too. And then I saw H Tanaka on there on the credits, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, there it is. That's why. Very good at making catchy songs and whatnot. So cool. Did either of you guys play either of the other ones? I played a little bit of Alleyway, and it just to play it. I'm like,
same.
I was just like, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, could you imagine getting this game? Like versus like Tetris or Mario Land 1, like say like your parents hated you and they got you Alleyway instead, and this is what you have to
break out again. Thanks.
This is what you have to deal with. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if it eventually gets more complicated, but I never made it past the first level because there was only one block left to hit, and I could not for the life of me hit it. And eventually, I just said, "Fuck it."
I played through like 4 or 5 levels. I played it for a minute, and I've played Breakout a million times. And it's just,
so they don't add anything.
It's just
not
a
like
very
Arkanoid or whatever where you like power ups or
yeah. You can't. Like I mean, as far as I know, you can't get power ups, but you can get but you can shoot stuff into a pixelated version of Mario. You can see that later in the bonus level. You see like the Mario, and also I guess the big deal is at the very beginning you see Mario get into the ship thing that's bouncing the ball around. So it's like, oh, Mario is in this game. Here we go. Like
I think it's
his face is on the cover and all that. I mean, if you look at the game, his face is in there.
Oh, it looked like Luigi. Maybe that was just the color palette I had it set on.
No, I thought it was Mario. It'd be even weirder if it's like, here, yeah, Luigi, have this. You can take this dumb game. No,
would it be that weird?
I just thought it would be it would just suck to have that game. If you're interested in if you're interested in those type of games like breakout games. You should go play this game called Shatter that's on Switch, which I had it on PS3. Speaking of PS3 games, that was a PlayStation 3 exclusive that was really good that you can buy on Switch. And it's basically a whole lot of breakout stuff, except you can you can change the gravity to go like forward or back, and you can shoot stuff. There's all this extra shit to it, and the soundtrack's really cool, and there's bosses, and it's really good. You can buy it for like $9.99 on Switch.
I know I got hooked on some sort of power-up based Breakout game for a while. I don't know if it was Arkanoid, but it was something like that.
There was like a free
There's
one
definitely
too.
some time in my life where I played the shit out of some Breakout one where there's all these power-ups and multipliers and stuff.
If you look at the front cover of Alleyway, he's 100% wearing the red. It's the red Mario, not the green Luigi.
I think it's supposed to be Luigi because he was green when I played.
Well, I'm saying on the cover of the game. If you bought the game on the box, he's wearing
I don't
red
think
overalls.
the actual Mega Man's supposed to look like the cover of the Mega Man box. So
It's Mario. It's fucking
it's
Mario.
just bad art. It's bad art.
It's bad art for the. I mean, this game. The art on this is the best thing about it. I mean, like honestly, seriously, the game is pretty fucking boring. Like the art on here makes it look like it's a fun game.
It's
but
bad.
It's
You know,
pretty boring.
I don't love it. Breakout is something that probably wasn't available in a portable version at this time, other than maybe on the whatever that Atari base. It wasn't Atari. The Mattel version. I forget what it's called. Not in television, but
Tiger?
the handhelds. No, the handheld. I think it had a Breakout game on it, but otherwise there probably wasn't a lot of handheld versions of Breakout. So having it on the Game Boy actually was probably pretty badass at the time. Well, I can't remember the name of that system. Oh well, whatever. It was the first. It was I think the first convention we went to in Milwaukee. It was on my list of things I was hoping to find, and then since then I've realized it's just way too expensive to ever own.
Oh, the Wonder Swan.
No.
Yeah.
It's a color system. I can't remember if it was made by Milton Bradley or by Mattel, but it came out in like the early 80s.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of
Of
it.
the handheld.
It actually has like a color screen, I think. Or no, it doesn't have a color screen. It's a black and white screen, I think.
Yeah,
But it had interchangeable
Yeah,
cartridges
handheld.
and everything. And my mom actually had one when I was really young, but I only sort of vaguely remember it. She didn't have it anymore by the time I cared about video games.
But it had Alleyway on it, or Breakout, or
No,
whatever,
it had some kind of
Microvision.
Breakout. Microvision, that's it. And it did have a Breakout game on it.
Yeah, that's where we got to this part.
So that was probably the first portable Breakout, I would think.
I see Microvision on eBay for $129.
Okay, it's not that bad. But I do hear the screens go to shit, just like Game Gear ones.
I believe it.
Too expensive. Anyway, yeah, that game is on there now.
Blockbuster is the game.
Oh, is
That's the name of the game.
what the Breakout type game is.
The clone or whatever, yeah.
Did anybody play baseball? No. I didn't.
No, I went and saw a baseball game.
Yeah, you saw baseball. That's a little bit less boring. But no, I didn't play it. I mean, I'm sure it plays just as well as the baseball game on NES, which we played online. And I remember it was the beginning of one of our episodes. Jeremy was
There's no shortage of baseball games.
just talked about how slow it was, and this one is probably just as slow as that one. But apparently Mario's in this one too, so there you go.
Recently,
Mario's
So
in
they,
all
should
these.
they should put the Bo Jackson one on there. It's got baseball and
and football. Oh, the Tiger handheld one that you flip around. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that one. I thought
I thought there
saw
was a
something-
Game Boy game too, though, that was like that.
Was there? I bet there
I thought
was.
so.
He was pretty popular back in the day.
Once again, they really tried to sell this one because you got Mario right there wearing the red on the front cover, throwing the pitch for this one also. So they really wanted people to get it. They're like, let's put Mario on the cover.
So you're saying every player in this is Mario?
No, just the picture. As
okay.
far as this,
Because I figured since the cover of it had Mario on it, that's probably what every character is.
I don't know.
I saw
didn't
something
play it.
recently, and I wish I remember what YouTube channel I was watching. This was just about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, so even before this came out for the Game Boy NSO. But apparently, the baseball game on Famicom in Japan is very well regarded. As simple as it is, it was really popular and still looked upon fondly, to the point where putting baseball on the Game Boy as a launch title was an enticing prospect. Like the Famicom version of baseball was such a huge draw, they decided to launch the Game Boy with this baseball game. I'm trying to remember what YouTube. If I remember it, I'll mention it later in the show. But it was a good video about why the black box baseball was actually an important game.
People have maybe never played baseball games at the time, and they were fine with how incredibly slow it was. because it is a very, very slow game. I mean, baseball is a very, very slow game. That's why it's required to drink beer to play it, I think, in most places. But yeah, we can move on from that. What else do we have on here?
So more Switch 2 rumors. We don't have to go in, too deep because we went deep on it last week. But some rumors about the RAM, and apparently it is including a microphone as well. That makes sense to me. The microphone. It was surprising, frankly, that this Switch didn't have a microphone. It was a very common feature to have on portable devices 7 years ago when this Switch released. And I think not having a microphone is probably the reason we never got NintenDogs, other such popular games from that era.
How else can you yell at your virtual dogs without a microphone?
They could have very easily had a microphone peripheral.
They could just incorporate the Nintendo Switch app, and you can yell into that, and it'll communicate to your phone or to your Switch. Whatever.
It'll be like if you call your dog up on the phone and yell at him.
Yeah. Hey, get over here.
Get out of the trash.
Yeah,
Just because I'm not there doesn't mean you can get in the trash.
I looked at some of the specs and stuff. I just don't understand any of that stuff, so I don't know. I don't know what whatever means. I was like, okay.
Yeah, reports on the numbers and that kind of stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, all right. Doesn't interest me that much. But the code name, there's a code name for the code name for the Switch. This is funny. Nintendo being secretive to the point of ridiculous. So it was reported earlier this week that the code name for the Switch 2 was Muji, M-U-J-I, or which means plane in Japanese. But it turns out this is actually a code name for the code name.
It's like a placeholder, right?
Yeah.
Is what
placeholder, yeah.
So it's kind of like a nothing article. It's like we found the code name for the code name. It means insert actual name here. That's what it means.
That's being like the nephew of my brother's aunt told me something.
Yeah.
So some games announced this week. One called Scarlet Tower, which looks pretty cool. It's a gothic horror roguelite RPG. I thought the font looked a little bit ripped from Bloodstained, but I guess some of the aesthetics of this genre are just common. So maybe not a ripoff, but Scarlet Tower looks kind of cool. Another one that looked interesting was called Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. It's another action RPG, and they say it's the definitive edition of the popular Nihon Falcom action JRPG. That's coming out July 25th.
Xanadu?
This sounds like it might be for you. Yep.
Or Fax Xanadu, or whatever it's called.
Tokyo Xanadu
Xanadu
EX Plus.
Yeah, it's like Fuzz Xanadu, right? Because of Famicom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it flows a lot like Battle of Olympus. Those games are very similar. And Zelda 2. It's like that same kind of engine.
Now, what do you think about this game, Trey? You're Captain Falcom.
I don't know. I know somewhat of the NES Xanadu, or Faz Xanadu, however you want to pronounce it. But I haven't looked at it at all, so I don't know. The characters look like they could be in an NES game, I guess, from looking at this picture.
Well, I'm interested in this one from Ron Gilbert. It's an Untitled RPG. He announced he's the creator of Monkey Island, and he's making an RPG that he says is Zelda meets Diablo meets Thimbleweed Park.
It looks
like all
nice.
His stuff. His
the
sense of humor,
screenshot.
yeah, I agree. It's a top-down 2D.
It's got definitely got like Zelda, Stardew Valley looking vibes.
Yeah, first thing I thought when I looked at it was it kind of looked like Stardew Valley.
They're aiming for it to come out this year. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that one. All right, so the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie came out this week.
Did you see it?
And I did not see it.
You were going to go see it, or what you thought? I don't know. You go see a lot of things. I thought maybe you'd seen it.
I would go see it just because I want to sort of take the temperature on how the Zelda movie is going to be. And I thought this was of interest because, we want to know, is this movie in capable hands? And Rotten Tomatoes, the score is 81% on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So it seems like the guy knows what he's doing. That's a pretty solid score.
Have you seen any of the other ones? Like, how many are
Maze
there?
Runner or all that? No, I'm not.
No, Planet of the Apes. That's what I meant. The series that this
I've only
is
seen like the originals. I've seen a couple of the original ones.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. The original, of course, and then of this run of this series, whatever. I saw the first one, but in poor conditions at somebody's house with kids in the background, that kind of thing. So I can't really say I saw that.
Yeah, I saw the first one of the new run. I thought it was pretty good. That's the only one I saw. Well, I mean, I watched all of the original ones, the original monkey face ones, non CGI ones. And I said it before. I think the third one's the best one, the one where they go back in time. That one's great. And you can watch all of them on Hulu if you have that. They've put them all in there because Disney owns that too. They own a lot of things. They also own Planet of the Apes license.
Just don't ruin the first one for me because I know the Statue of Liberty's in there and I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin the second one for you. That one has an even crazier ending to it than the Statue of Liberty. You've seen that one.
Yeah, don't ruin it for him, you damn dirty ape.
Yeah.
I botched that.
But yeah, whatever. It's out. I won't see it, but it's out there. Another movie I won't see, Mortal Kombat 2, has a release date for October 24th of next year. So there it is. That first one, I didn't like it at all. So, I mean, why would I pay money for another one like that?
I don't know.
Says the person who bought Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch.
I love Mortal Kombat, the game, not Mortal Kombat, the stupid movie, starring Cole, our favorite non-Mortal Kombat character. I just hope he has a really good story this time. I just want everything good to happen for Cole. I just want him to just have like the best time ever, rejecting other tournaments that isn't Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat 2 will also not get to the tournament because we're waiting for 5 for that. That's when we'll get to the tournament finally. We'll have a whole bunch of other characters that are done wrongly. It'll be great.
Transportation to the tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be I mean, the only thing that would make it kind of entertaining, as we said before, is if Cole gets killed at the beginning of Mortal Kombat 2. It'll be worth watching it for 2 minutes for that.
Then begin the tournament right away. That would be the movie's redemption. The only thing that gives me hope for this movie, what little there might be, is that the first movie was all set up. So maybe that means they'll just jump right into it and have a tournament in number 2. I mean, I think the Sonic movie, the sequel was much better for the reason that it got all the, whatever lore or whatever it wanted to out of the way and, introduce the characters fine. But number 2 kind of was able to get up and running and be a better movie because number 1.
No, I see what you did.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, they
unintentional.
Yeah, they just did that spin dash thing from all the Sonic games to get them going.
Yep.
So they don't have to run as fast.
It's a good segue between movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I just hope that they bring more characters that aren't in actual Mortal Kombat games into the movie because, that works out so good for other video game movies. We got Cole, let's just bring Bill in there or some other guy. We'll have Barry, this new Barry that's part of Mortal Kombat. We don't need any of the hundreds of Mortal Kombat characters that are in there. We should build more uninteresting characters and put them into the Mortal Kombat series is what I think. That's what we need.
Hey, they matter in this universe.
That's what we need for Mortal Kombat movies is more uninteresting characters. So please do that. And make sure they're all descendants of old characters. Like they're all related to Scorpion, like Cole was for some reason. Let's just do that. Have them related to cool characters, but not have the cool characters in there.
Hey, Scorpion and F-Zero are brothers.
F-Zero.
F-Zero.
There's a movie I want to see right there. Scorpion and F-Zero, the brotherhood of F-Zero and Scorpion. Just everyone from F-Zero is related to Scorpion. All of them.
Racing
every
just
character.
got more violent and confrontational.
Captain EAD.
Get over here.
They're all related to Scorpion. They're all related, all of them. No matter who you are. It'd be great. And there's some weird characters in there. But we should, speaking of movies, not to bring it down again, but I got to mention it. 2 in a row. So we lost Steve Albini last week, and this week we lost Roger Corman, which I don't know if you know the name Roger Corman, but you saw his name on a lot of things, especially if you remember going to the movie rental places as a kid, and you would see like Roger Corman's version of this. Like he was like he was the main guy. Like a B-movie, independent movie guy, that sort of thing. I mean, he was a huge influence on Lloyd Kaufman. Like I know they were pretty good friends and all that. But Roger Corman, like as a director, he actually did a lot of. The first time I ever saw Roger Corman was Roger Corman's Edgar Allan Poe movies, which he did with Vincent Price, like way back when. So like I remember watching like a trailer. I think he did Pit and the Pendulum. What was the Red? There's like the Mask of Red Death. I know he did that one. Like there's a lot of really good old Edgar Allan Poe movies that he directed. Was like the first thing I saw. But then later as a producer, he produced like Death Race 2000 and like Suburbia and like all these like really, really good, like Rock and Roll High School, like all these really good like punk rock movies that I love.
Were there common actors between Death Race and Rock and Roll High School? Wasn't the...
Yeah, what was it? Mary Warrenov was in both of them. She signed both of my DVDs of that one. She was she was in both of those movies. And she did a lot of indie stuff at the time.
Was it Calamity Jane or something like that? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she was one of the racers, and she was the principal as well. Was she Calamity Jane? I don't remember exactly, but yeah, she was one of the main racers, and also,
Stallone.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone was in there also before the Rocky movies and all that, and David Carradine, Dr. Frankenstein, he wasn't Dr. Frankenstein. He was just something. I was Frankenstein something. I should have remembered. Anyway, it's a great movie. Don't watch any of the remakes, but that one's awesome. But yeah, no, Roger Corman did a lot of really cool stuff, including being the producer
the MCU
of the being the producer of the legendary Fantastic Four movie that was never released, which I bought a VHS copy of at a comic book store or at a comic book convention when I was a teenager before comics were cool. I saw that movie. You can actually watch it in its entirety on YouTube. It's worth watching just to see the Human Torch go full torch at the end, which I thought was pretty cool. But I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun for what it is. It's got cheesiness to it, but as far as like following the comic book, that's the best one out of the three ones that are out there.
How do they do Mr. Fantastic with like no CGI?
I mean, they do the stretchy arms and all that. It just looks kind of hokey, I guess, but they still do it. Like it's not. I mean, the Human Torch part is pretty cool because I think he's all hand animated when he becomes fully flamed on. You know, so I mean,
it's like stop motion.
No, I think it's like a cartoon. I think they like animate it. There might be a little bit of CGI in there, but there's a part towards the end where Doctor Doom like shoots a missile at the Earth, and he flies into space and stops the missile or whatever. And that part looks cool because they didn't have that much of a budget. Like Johnny Storm couldn't really become the Human Torch fully. He would just light parts of himself on fire through the whole movie. And then eventually, at the very end, he becomes full Human Torch. And that part I still think looks pretty cool for the time. There's a movie there's a documentary called Doomed, the story of the Fantastic Four movie, which is worth watching if you could see that. I watched it and it was really good. About where they do interviews with the cast. And actually, speaking of Roger Corman and Lloyd Kaufman was actually originally approached to direct that Fantastic Four movie, and he said, "Hell no, I don't want to do that. The fans are going to come after me." And he was very right for that.
Smart.
Like he kind of ran
ahead of his time.
He ran away from that. He's like, "Oh no way! You want me to direct the Fantastic Four, like the movie that saved comic books? I don't think so. No way. We don't have the." He's like, "That's not what we do. We make weird movies, like we do. I don't want to do that. That's too much pressure."
I would be alienating my own fans.
Yeah. Plus, he was good friends with Stan Lee and all that as well. So I mean, he probably didn't want to handle like the Stan Lee written stuff and all that. But yeah, Roger Corman, fucking 98 years old, like almost 100 years. Like it's insane. Like he lived for so long, and it's like so much shit. Like just look at all the stuff that his name is attached to. There's a lot of really great things out there. A lot of really, really good movies.
I saw a lot of big names like shouting him out, including, what was the big one?
I mean, I heard it from John Carpenter. I read it off of John Carpenter's tweet on
Bruce
Twitter.
Campbell, there we go. Bruce Campbell was.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw it from John Carpenter's tweet from Roger Corman, and I was like, holy shit. I didn't realize he was so old, but I mean, he's been around for a long time, like I said.
Every time I always saw him, he always seemed happy and vibrant, and in every video, every interview, he just always seemed like he was loving life. And so I think that's the reason why he didn't seem like he was 98. You think he just like enjoyed what he did and lived the life he wanted to lead. So I think
sounds like he made movies more palatable for common people. If he was,
I think so. I think he inspired a lot of folks. Even if his movies were of varied quality, like he just went out and did it. So good for him. He was an inspiring artist. And, like I always think, like every time I think of a picture of him, like in my mind, he's always smiling. He's always like being jovial, having a good time. Like that's a sign of a life well lived. I think when you think back on the person, and you're like, I don't know if I've ever seen that person not smiling. To me, that's what comes to mind was Roger Corman. Seems like he just lived a good life, did what he wanted, had a good time. Rest in peace.
So I used to feel that way about Big Bird until I saw the Jim Henson funeral.
About Big Bird.
That's true.
He's-
Big Bird was
Big
sad.
Bird gives a eulogy, and it's really, really sad.
I say Big Bird's still around. Well, I mean, there's still somebody in there or whatever. They can still make the outfit.
I'm just saying it's the only time I ever was depressed by Big Bird. Although I guess like the whole people not seeing his friend snuff for so long probably depressed him too.
So in stock news, the GameStop stock is back up again because Roaring Kitty is back on the scene. The guy who inspired the whole rally to begin with a couple of years ago. I guess he's back and tweeting and telling people to buy up GameStop. And so they are. And so they were up as of yesterday, I think it was, to $38, which is the highest they've been in some time. I saw someone giving a warning saying, "Yeah, don't buy into this. Whatever. Don't like, man. If you're following his lead to fuck up the system again, like, go for it. Have fun with your money. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just go ahead and do it."
Didn't you own a part of GameStop? Or no, that was or was that crypto? Jeremy,
I had
don't
crypto.
didn't you buy?
Shauna bought some AMC
Oh,
during that time.
I thought
Oh,
you
yeah.
I thought you had bought a section of
And I think,
GameStop
do you still
too,
have
or
it,
maybe
Shauna,
not.
or did you sell it? She made like $200 off of AMC, I guess.
I thought you got a chunk of the GameStop thing too.
No, I just bought crypto and then I ended up selling it at a very small loss. And if I still had it, it would have gone back up, but not by much.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Have you played this the PlayStation 1 emulator, Jeremy?
No, I don't.
The sequel
I
to
haven't-
the
Honestly,
Delta,
there's
the
not
Gamma.
a lot of PlayStation 1 games that I care that much about playing that I can't get a hold of already on the PS5, because it's got all the
Parappa.
classic stuff on it.
Is Parappa the Rapper on
Parappa's on
5?
there.
One on
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah. I was I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get it, but
Is this from the same people who did Delta? Is that
No,
why
I think it's
Delta
just, I think
Gamma?
I thought
I think a lot
it
of
was.
people that, I don't think it is.
I thought it was just because of the name, like Delta and Gamma.
It's possible, but I think it's just a lot of different emulators are going to be popping up, things that they've changed their front end or whatever to fit the iPhone store because now they can do it. So it's just going to be a bunch of popular emulators showing up on the iPhone store. Delta was just ready to go out the door, I guess, before anyone else was.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I don't doubt we're going to see more. Like they had some sort of like there was another emulator that came out this week that was like it's like a front end, once again like a front end, but I think it's like you can use it kind of like the ones people use for MAME and stuff that they use to like put a bunch of different systems on a one like operating system, which is kind of what Delta does, but it's just with all like certain Nintendo consoles. But these are ones that are like any emulator can run on them, and then you just have like a one-stop space. So that's sort of the thing that's, I don't know. I don't want to mess around with it because you got to get a bunch of crazy files to make stuff work.
Yeah, I'm going to get less interested in these as the systems get more technologically advanced.
I can't remember what the site
NES
was,
Game Boy-
but I think it was just today or maybe yesterday that Nintendo successfully got a ROM site shut down. And they were one of the ROM sites I had been to for ROMs before. So I recognize the name, but it sounds like Nintendo's going after the ROM sites now. And maybe they always have been, but they're
so
we're
that they
probably going to
can't.
see
Yeah.
more of that now. Yeah.
You're right. I think that's the strategy. Whereas before they were kind of lying dormant and like, all right, this is going to happen in the background. Fine. Not much we can do. But now that Apple has allowed it on their how many dozens of millions of iPhones that are out there, I think a better strategy is to go after the weak guys, the suppliers of the ROMs, who don't have the money.
You can blame it all on Epic Games ultimately, or you can think Epic Games, however you want to look at it.
I mean, isn't like emulation in itself pretty like fine? It's just the ROMs are where the illegal technicality comes from.
It's
or
always
whatever.
been the legal loophole. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the specific games because like if you look at like the Delta, if you look at it on the App Store, it doesn't show it running Nintendo games. It has like made up games that are on there. It's just like this is an emulator, but it doesn't show anything of an actual like
Nintendo,
or of any like copyrighted thing. It's they show like made up whatever 64 looking games or whatnot on there. So I mean, go after the ROM site. That's more where.
Well, you can always advertise
whatever.
yourself as a ROM for homebrew, and you're fine too, because if people can figure out how to make games for a console, that's not illegal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it shows like Castle 64. It's like all these like made up games, like or maybe they're real
Castle
like
64. That was a great one.
like Skip and Friends and the Unexpected Journey. Which is supposed to be like a Super Nintendo game or whatever. It's all these like which maybe they are homebrew stuff, but I've never really heard of them. Like Castle 64 seemed pretty seemed like a pretty generic made up thing.
So for a lot of people with emulation, another thing that some people will give as an example of like they aren't comfortable with it is if you need to download a specific file that you can only get through ripping it off of a disk or something. Because in that process, you're essentially like subverting their copyright protection by extracting something from a disk. And by doing that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's still requiring the software to get around it, even if it's not the same software. So that's something I actually watched a video about recently, because there's a device that came out somewhat recently, a third-party device, obviously, where you can dump your Switch cards onto a SD card.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, this thing, like, it's been out for a little while, but like there was a new software that came out somewhat recently where it copies everything. And I guess I don't remember exactly. And I watched the video and I sort of understood it when I was watching it, but essentially each individual Switch cartridge has a certificate on it that's unique to that cartridge. This is only physical games, by the way. So if you got it through like the eShop or something, it might have like a similar certificate, but it's built into like the copy that you download. But if it's a physical game, in order for that game to run, it's got this file on it that's unique to each individual copy. And because of that, if somebody bought a game, dumped it, and then sent it back, or sold it at a game store or something, you could eventually like load up a Switch game you bought yourself, and you could get your whole account blacklisted because Nintendo would recognize that certificate as being used before for a different copy of the game because of the emulation. So it could end up being a problem in the long run with resale of Switch software and all that. So that's something to think about with emulation. If the people get too good at it, like it might just brick our consoles.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Speaking of scary things,
yeah.
I mean, these were always terrifying. You could go, yeah.
Well, now you can be at peace because they are no more. Chuck E. Cheese is saying goodbye to the animatronic band.
Oh my gosh. What's going to happen to all those figures?
Chuck E. Cheese is also going to say goodbye to their business after this. I remember we talked about them before, trying to rebuild their image or whatever, but really, as scary as those animatronic robots are, like, what's the point of going there if they're not there? Just bad pizza? Like, why would you go to the bad pizza and really bad beer? Like, for the ones that have beer?
And really bad video games, because they're all like Chuck E. Cheese versions of things.
Yeah, they're really... back in the day, like Showbiz Pizza, they had real video games. Like, I remember the one in Peoria that I went to, they had like the Star Wars arcade game, and they had the Simpsons arcade, and like Turtles and pinball games and all that stuff. But when it switched to Chuck E. Cheese, it became these like not video games that you could just win like tickets from, like these really, really bad with the characters in there, really awful graphics. And it's like, I thought that was already a step down, but it's like, really, why would you go to any of these places, like, to begin with? What is the point of going here aside from like
pea-scented ball pint?
Finding a place to throw your annoying kids into, so maybe you can have like a pitcher of Bud Light or something from there.
So there's room for this
Chucky Brew
if they still do it, if they do it right. I think if you're a parent, you're gonna have parties for your kids, a birthday party or whatever kind of Cub Scout get together, whatever. You don't want to do it in your house. Like that's often unappealing to have a bunch of 9-year-olds over to your house, ransacking the place, whatever. It's just easier to say, hey, I'm going to pay, put down $500, have a party at Chuck E. Cheese, and you guys handle it. like the appeal is a place for your kids to get together, go wild, and you don't have to do that much as a parent. So there's a market for that.
But what do they do? Just play those crappy video games that are there and skee ball,
crappy video games,
and pee in the ball pit, whatever, you know.
Yeah, all that, as long as they keep it as a sanitary place, and mom and dad generally, they're a lot of folks aren't like us who care about the video games and all that stuff. Like, as long as the kid is doing something and screaming and having fun, who cares if it's a shitty knockoff arcade game?
If you want your kids' birthday parties to not be great, take them to Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, you could take them to like Dave and Buster's. There's other places to go that have like actual worthwhile things.
But Dave and Buster's is
I guess a lot of those are closed too.
I went to one about 6 months ago. It was not a.
I mean, they have
pretty safe. Dave and Buster's is worse off because
they have arcade games.
Because they are trying to appeal to guys like us who would care about video games, but they don't have at least half of their video games are crap. I didn't have a good time there. But
go to Chuck E. Cheese where 100% of them are crap.
Sure, but that's a whole different market. They're marketing to the parents of 8 and 9-year-olds. And so as long as you can have something for the kids to do, the kids have a low bar, because as long as
they should just rebrand as Five Nights at Freddy's, and they can just keep their restaurants.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Just change out all their animatronics.
They should, yeah. I mean, the animatronics was the only thing I liked about those places, really. Aside from, like I said,
the only thing that was kind of cool.
And they scared the shit out of me as a kid, but I still am fascinated by them.
How
they function, and watching YouTube videos about them,
and multiple movies and TV shows based around the.
I'm pretty sure Captured by Robots uses a similar way of animating his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty interested in animatronics. I think go scour your local Chuck E. Cheese's, look in the alleys, and see what they're doing with these robots, because you might be able to get some of them for a good deal.
I bet you anything there that this is going to be next time we talk about Chuck E. Cheese, it's going to be it's going to go the way of Red Lobster. Apparently, a whole bunch of those closed like this week as well. So Chuck E. Cheese is done for, I think. I mean, what it's going to be some people who have maybe some nostalgia for it, that hate their kids, that just want to throw them somewhere to have them just, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a viable thing to do at all. I don't know. It's
been clinging on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be done for.
There's a way to do it. As long as you just entertain the kids with flashing lights, whatever, and then you treat mom and dad well. They do have to get the better beer, the better food, better entertainment for mom and dad while the kids are playing.
They're actually repurposing the robots to be massage robots while the kids play. They'll give you a massage.
There's an idea. They should just make all the kids watch the Super Mario Brothers movie. That seemed to be that's why it did so well, right? Because everybody could take their annoying kids to that show, and they're like, "Oh no, it's fine," because my kid shut up for an hour and a half. So it's a great movie.
Or my kid didn't shut up, but no other kid shut up either, so it was fine.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I don't know. I mean, I think Chuck E. Cheese, whatever. I don't give a shit about that. I'm still holding the candle for Showbiz.
A battle-hardened human over here.
I'm still
holding about their childhood.
My childhood.
What did he do to you?
My childhood was Showbiz Pizza, not fucking Chuck E. Cheese. I told you, Showbiz Pizza was when they actually had arcade games there.
Yeah,
Chuck E. Cheese was the bad one in Bloomington that we went to. It was the low budget Showbiz Pizza. It was the one that nobody liked, and then it became the new.
Which, if I remember correctly, wasn't Chuck E. Cheese actually first, and then Showbiz was
something like that.
The Showbizes.
Yeah, we talked about it before. It was something where it was switched around or whatever. But yeah, I mean,
it's like ska and reggae. You always thought reggae came first, but no, ska came first.
But either way, I mean, I don't care.
You're just being a ska defender.
Shh. That's every episode. But yeah, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about whatever else.
Sounds good to me. Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
So anyway, so we're back from the break. I guess we forgot to mention it in news. I just wanted to mention it. We don't have to spend that much time on it, but it's been a year since Tears of the Kingdom came out, and this is the part of the show where Jeremy can just laugh at us because we've not experienced the greatness of the ending of Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I can't believe it's been a year of the Kingdom. I've played it not very recently.
You played it for almost a year in length. No, it was you put 300 some hours in there. You really.
It's my second. It's my second highest after Animal Crossing on my Switch.
I just I was trying to think about it. I was like, wow, it's been a year already, and I was just trying to think back. I was like, have I played Tears of the Kingdom in this house at all since we moved here? And I don't think I have. I was trying to I was going back through our old episodes to see what I talked about on all these different episodes. And I don't think I've played Tears of the Kingdom since AEW Fight Forever came out. I think that was kind of the nail in the coffin.
You've been putting together
stopped
flat
after
pack
that.
furniture. That's what
after that
your version of Tears of the Kingdom is.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played it here because after we moved, I just never started it up again. So there you go. But yeah, it's been a year. It's been out for a year, and and 2/3 of us still haven't beaten it.
I'm this close to jumping back in because you'll notice the last couple of weeks I've been checking off some games on my hit list that I need to beat. So I think maybe the next one.
Let me just say, as the member of the podcast who's all up in that next gen or whatever, playing the PS5 and stuff, nothing compares to Tears of the Kingdom of any game I've ever played that feels so free. And so, what do I want to do now? I can just go do whatever, and I can build whatever I want and do it. Obviously there's limitations, but there's no other game that really scratches that itch for me. Whenever I do load it back up, which I've played it for small amounts of time here and there every few weeks just to go up to the highest point and fly off of it, and just enjoy it, and then dive down into the deeps. What do they call it? I don't even remember what they call them.
The depths.
Yeah.
The deeps.
I was close.
I like the deep
because every game has that. The Baldur's Gate 3 has the Underdark, and then Elden Ring had a whole bunch of stuff under the ground too. So I just get it confused. But yeah, just that whole seamless experience from going from the high enough in the sky to where the gravity's lower to jumping all the way down into the pit. It's just so satisfying. It's so fun. And building a machine and flying as far as you can and then having it die, or having it disappear, which sucks. There's ways around that, I guess, but I haven't messed around with it. But certain like things you could do depending on what pieces you attach to your machines, whether or not they disappear. If they're like items from the world, they usually stay. Anyway, needless to say, that game's great. It's one of the best games that's ever been made. Like, especially as far as like 3D platformers go, I just can't think of anything that I've had more fun with.
Especially considering that its predecessor was one of the greatest games ever made, and I don't think anybody expected the sequel to surpass it. I think it was expected to maybe meet it, but to just like clearly and inarguably blow past it. I mean, I think that's the consensus. It's a much better game, despite all the odds that it could possibly beat.
I'd say I almost like maybe they almost
Yep.
do themselves a disservice, because I would say don't even play Breath of the Wild to anybody. I mean, I play Tears of the Kingdom.
Play Breath of the Kingdom.
It's way more fun. And going back, I haven't even tried. I will say I haven't tried going back to Breath of the Wild since this game came out, and I feel like if I did, I would feel like claustrophobic.
Yeah, which is not how you felt the first time you played Breath of the Wild.
No,
because you can't.
It would just be
fly.
so like you can't fly. You can't like go all the way up into the sky and get all cray cray.
Happy anniversary, Tears of the Kingdom.
Hopefully, I'll beat this game someday. We'll see. I don't know.
It's the best ending to a Zelda, with the exception of maybe possibly Link to the Past was pretty good, but this one's on a whole nother level.
I don't know. I mean, my favorite ending was Majora's Mask, so I mean, I don't think it's.
I've heard multiple people say it's the best Zelda ending.
I don't think you're going to have that kid sitting under the tree on top of the moon. Like that moment was so cool.
I guess not.
Yeah, I mean that was my favorite ending. It's also my favorite Zelda ever. But I mean, I don't know. I was like, well, I could just try to do it sometime, but Jess wanted to watch the end of it, so we just have to play it together sometime. And also I have to learn how to play it again because I haven't played it for so long. And I just think about all those swords that I probably have that are almost broken, and I have to go find more, and it just makes me not feel like I want to play it again. But I'll have to play it someday. Maybe. I don't know.
I'll be there soon.
Someday I'll play it again, I guess. Before Switch 2. Or Tears of the Kingdom 2, or whatever they do.
I think if nothing else, just go explore for a while. Try to round out a map, the maps or whatever, and then when you're doing that, you're going to get back into the hang of the controls, and then you'll be ready to go to the end game, because I'm sure you're strong enough for the end game by now.
Probably so.
Strategy, yep. I got to the end game, and I was like, I don't want to be here yet, because I still had so much of the depths left to be mapped in. Yeah, I don't know if I want to 100% the game before I beat it, but I wanted to get more, so I backed out.
I went to the under part 2 just a little bit, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here yet, and then I left.
And as cool as that part is, like, I wouldn't say like genuinely that it's as fun. If you like the battle system, you'll love it down there because you fight a lot, but you're not getting creative once you like jump down there. You're in the pure combat portion of the game and through the boss and stuff. So
make sure you got a lot of swords. Or whatever, enough weapons.
Yes, absolutely, and lots of foods that heal you,
and food too.
Oh, and make sure you have anything that gets rid of the wherever the
Curse,
blight
yeah.
is or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, I did start like a radish, the heart radish or whatever the fuck.
hardy radish.
Yeah, I made like, is that the one you can start the farm of? I started a farm.
See,
of whatever.
I never started a farm. I never figured out how to farm in that.
It's in one of the towns. Yeah,
That's cool.
One of the towns you can start a farm, and there's one of the I don't know if it's the radish or the other one, but it's one of those ones where you just cook the one thing and it gives you all your hearts back, and you can grow it.
Yeah, anything that's hardy.
Maybe it's the hardy radish, but yeah, you can
at least full health.
Anyway, you can grow it in the farm there, so you have like an unlimited amount of those. So that's what I had. But yeah, I'll go back and play it someday. But yeah, let's talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing for the week. John, why don't you go for it?
We got a Highland Song, which I've had my eye on for a long time since it was announced. I said I'm going to get that game for sure.
Oh, it was in
I did.
It was in a thing, right? It was in one of the indie directs or something. Yeah, I didn't recognize the name, but I saw the picture and I was like, oh, that looks familiar.
Got it for $12.59, down from $17.99. It'll be not on sale anymore.
It's on
A couple
sale
of hours.
for the next 3 hours.
It's like,
as of
so is
right
it on
now.
sale because it just came out, or has it been out for a while?
No,
It's been
it
out
was
for a while. I would say it's been out for probably 4 or 5 months.
I thought it
Oh,
came
okay.
out. I thought it came out with a direct.
I didn't know if
or
this
an
was
indie,
like
an indie
the-
world or something.
Some of these games will be like on sale when they first come out. That's why I was.
Yeah,
confused.
yeah. No, it's
So this is it's an adventure platformer mixed in with a rhythm game, and it's set in the Scottish Highlands. So it's got this really nice, like, peaceful, laid back kind of atmosphere.
Do you get to see Highland cows? Do you get to see the big furry cows that are
No
out there?
cows in there so far, but I'm still early on in the game. So far, it's one of those sort of lonely adventures. It's just you. And speaking of, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, there's a little bit of that in there because you're climbing the hills. It's 2D, but you're climbing the hills. You have to. If there's stamina involved, you can't run too fast or for too long. You have to, watch your stamina as you're going up the cliff sides and all that. You have to camp for the night when you get too tired. If you camp in a poor spot that's not comfortable, your health gets decreased for the next day. Yeah, it's pretty cool so far. I've only played, I want to say, maybe 45 minutes of it. I just got it yesterday, or no, it was the day before. I haven't played much of it, but my first impression of it is very strong. It's just really well presented. It's got, the first thing you're going to notice is that it's the animation is beautiful. Just like the setting is really serene and inviting with a sense of danger. You're like this, it's one of those one girl against the world kind of stories. She's just setting out an adventure. The game starts with you sitting on your rooftop and your mom is yelling at you to come inside, and you get a couple of dialogue tree options, but all of them are kind of leaning to, hey, just get out of here and set off on your adventure. And you do. And you're just sort of casually exploring the Scottish hillsides out of curiosity. You're finding different artifacts, picking up, like I found a wedding ring, and I have to figure out where this wedding ring goes. And your story is being narrated at the same time by I think it's your uncle. You'll hear like this really deep, warm, inviting voice sort of narrating your journey. And then the girl, she chimes in every once in a while too with some narration. Yeah, the whole thing just it's a nice casual kind of game. It reminds me a little bit in some ways of Spiritfarer, not in terms of the gameplay, but just in terms of that sort of laid back, soul cleansing kind of experience. And it's got this lush musical score. The whole thing is rich with Scottish culture, and so it's got the, I don't know what the type of music would be called, but if you think, traditional Scottish music, you could certainly picture something.
Bagpipes.
I don't know if I even heard, I was hesitant to say bagpipes because I don't think I've heard bagpipes in there yet, but I would be surprised if they're not in there, right? And actually, I was reminded a lot of Bramble in that way only, really, just in the fact that it's like a game that's inviting you into a whole different culture. The way that game invited you into Nordic folklore, I feel like I'm about to embark on a capital S Scottish journey. So I'm about to learn something about Scottish culture, I think. So I'm excited to dive in more. One thing I really appreciate about this game so far is that, I like to play the games with my headphones on, but as you guys pointed out to me recently, the Bluetooth headphones cause lag.
Kind of fuck up the controls, so you can sort of fix it. Well, yeah, I saw on the notes. Yeah,
it's great that you can, at the first thing when you start up the game, it lets you know, hey, this is a game that is music focused, and you can adjust your headphones now. So you put your headphones on. It's imploring you to use headphones because the music is that good, the sound, the audio landscape, in addition to the music, is just really nice. So you want to wear headphones for this game. But first thing when you start up the game is you actually tap the X button to the rhythm to sync up the headphones, so you don't have any input lag. I guess you're syncing up your controller really to your headphones.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said there's like a rhythm game aspect to it, and that's most what was it? The one I like so much, Rhythm Sprout, did the same thing where it right off the bat it wants you to make sure that the like and it actually was different comparing to like which TV I used it on. Like there'd be a little bit of delay between whatever which one it was, but yeah, it would definitely right at the bat it would be like, all right, you should do this test to make sure that everything is on, so you can do the rhythm at the right time and all that.
Yeah, and the rhythm aspect, a little more on that is at certain points you're sort of climbing the hill to the beat of the music. Now, as far as that goes, I've only experienced that in sort of the tutorial modes. I don't know where that's going to come in again later. It's not all throughout the game. It's not the entirety of the game that you're climbing the mountain to the beat, but it seems like it's going to be punctuated with those kind of moments in special sections. I thought that was pretty unique. That's pretty cool.
And yeah, and you can make it you can make your delay better with the headphones also.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that, like with the Rhythm Heaven thing, or with the Rhythm game, not Heaven.
Yeah, so a strong recommend for this one, even though I've only 45 minutes or so in. I can tell it's going to be a really good game.
It came out in December of last year, so it's got some months. It came out December 5th, 2023. That's when it was released. But I remember seeing it in a video in one of the directs, and I remember you saying that you liked it because it was like I forget what was the term you say, like a
cinematic platformer.
That one, yeah, cinematic platformer.
Yeah, it's one of those
exactly.
For sure. But it's also a little bit of it's like cinematic platformer meets walking simulator meets rhythm game at times, meets adventure game even. There's like picking up items, finding items, and figuring out where to use the items, that kind of thing. Totally my type of game. I really like it so far.
Cool.
On to X-Men. So I beat the original X-Men show. I watched
I beat the new X-Men show. I made sure to watch the end of the new X-Men show for you tonight.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool. Yeah, I also watched the new X-Men.
No spoilers.
Too. Yeah, if you haven't seen it,
there's just
watch that.
I guess
I'll take my headphones off.
I guess it's kind of a spoiler. Not really. The only thing that really bothered me, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, Wolverine's claws are not that long. Like when he stabs Magneto, they would not shoot out that far from his chest. I know they want that to look like that for effect, but come on, it makes it look like his claws are fucking 5 feet long.
You think Magneto's magnetic?
That's the only thing. That was a thing. Further. That was the thing that really bothered me. Where it's like, yeah, sure, it's for effect, so you can look down and they look like they're like out this far, but like.
But I mean, since Magneto is a magnetic person himself, like maybe, and has control of metal, maybe like.
But why would he want to stretch the claws through his own stomach more, like to hurt himself?
Well, he was trying to get him away from himself.
Why would he do that?
Like, he's trying to get them away from him, but he went the wrong direction.
It's for effect, but it's not the actual length of Wolverine's claws. That's all I'm saying. They aren't that long. They would not be that far out. For anybody who read the comics, we know that Wolverine's claws just go just almost the face length of Sabretooth, because that's when he stabbed him in the brain, when he had the two claws up here, and he put the third one up. It just barely went into the brain right here, so it's only about this big. And we've seen him stab 1 million people in the movies, and it never was like all of a sudden I have double the size of claws just so it can stick out farther enough of my chest so I can look at it and see. It was for effect. It was all for effect, but I'm just saying they're not that long. That's it.
So did you watch just last or did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Okay,
I watched the end of it today.
Yeah, so we know I loved it. So what did you think about it?
I thought it was fine. I don't have that much nostalgia for the original X-Men cartoon, as I've said before on here. I tried watching it again. Like I thought that, there was a lot of, the animation hasn't held up very well. Like I said, I don't know. I wasn't really that much of an X-Men person. Like I always kind of felt like that Marvel tried to suck as much as they could from all the people that were into X-Men. There were like 10 X-Men comics when I was like a teenager. It was just way too many comics to keep track of, and I don't want to read like X-Force and X-Factor and Generation X and all these other fucking X-Men comics. I just want, just a couple comics to and they did the same thing.
The new class.
I mean, they were just as mean with Spider-Man as well. Like there was like 7 different Spider-Man comics. Like when I was big into it in the 90s, we had Web of Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man and Peter Parker Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man and like all these and Spider-Man Unlimited and Spider-Man 2099 and there was X-Men 2099 also. There was just all these different versions of it. And it was really hard to keep up. So I don't know. X-Men wasn't really my thing. I like the Fantastic Four. They only had one book, and that's all you need. They had one book, then you could figure out everything. But I mean, I didn't have that much nostalgia for the show. So when it came out, I was like, all right, sure, I'll watch it. And I'm not, it's fine. I mean, I think it's good. It's just, it didn't like really blow my mind like most people. Is all I'm saying. I thought it was a fine show. I mean, good for them. I mean, if that means that we'll finally get good X-Men movies, then cool. If that means that the MCU will do it right. I mean, I did like, I liked some of the original X-Men movies, but it's kind of hard to say that because the director's a pedophile. So, it's hard to look back on that because Bryan Singer is a terrible person. So it's like, there's that. But I don't know. You talk about what you thought about it.
Yeah, overall, I thought what I liked so much about it is I think it handles the ensemble very well. I think in a lot of ensemble shows that some of the characters will get lost. I feel like really most of the characters got their due.
Except for Wolverine, they kind of really downplayed him a lot. I mean, he's like in a coma through like all of the last episode.
They downplayed him, but I think to good effect because having just watched the original,
I think they did because
focused too much on Wolverine.
Exactly. I mean, every show was all about Wolverine. Even the movies are all about Wolverine because he is the most popular character. So everybody loves Wolverine. So that's why they downplayed him. So they kind of cut him out of it. But it was pretty cool to see Magneto, do what he did to Wolverine because that was a huge deal in the comics when that happened. And I remember being, in the zeitgeist of that when I was a teenager when that happened, and the whole like percussion, what came from that, what came after that to Wolverine. This whole character changed, like with the bone claws, and he became more feral and all that stuff. And hopefully they get into that.
Yeah, even the way they animated that was exactly as it was in the comics. There's a lot of stuff, not that I knew a lot about the comics going into this, but I would always watch breakdowns and stuff after every episode, and they pointed out how so much stuff was taken, especially like with that one iconic scene that you're just talking about. Like that was modeled exactly after that panel in the comic book. I thought that was pretty cool. I think there's a lot in there for the folks who did enjoy the comics and who did read every issue. And
there was a lot of there was a lot of real like
a lot of Easter eggs.
I mean, well, there was also. I mean, there's Easter eggs in every superhero movie or show or whatever. But it was also like, but also a lot of it was like some pretty deep cuts, like like Bastion. Like, who the fuck cares about that guy? Like, that's pretty fucking deep cut for X-Men. Like, I was like, I don't even know who the fuck this guy is, and I'm I know most X-Men stuff, but I was like, whatever. But at the end when they went to Egypt, I was like Apocalypse, and there he was. I was like,
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then you see his fucking blue lipstick, and it's like in Sabanur or whatever, It's like, it's like, yeah, I know that fucking dude.
I also liked that there was a lot of action in this show, but it was always story motivated. It just never felt like we need to have something blow up here.
They got real flashy at the end there too. Like it's like we're X-Menning as much as we can X-Men at the end there. It was all like, let's just have a whole lot of explosions. I don't know.
And the way they animate stuff too, it's like the action is happening on multiple planes, jumping from the foreground to the background. And
and then you got a bunch of guest appearances from we got Peter Parker and Mary Jane and Daredevil,
a lot of that stuff,
and Captain America and Iron Man and Doctor Strange, and like there was a bunch of other ones. And thankfully,
Peter Parker and Mary Jane were from.
I said that. They were wearing the same outfits that they wore from that show.
Yeah, I was just specifying they're the ones from that animated show.
And I got one little drop of Fantastic Four in there because Morph did turn into Reed Richards at the end, and that was pretty cool. So I liked that.
Yeah, when that happened, I in that moment I blinked, and then Reed Richards was there, so I had to rewind it.
Yeah,
like I blinked at the exact wrong moment.
Well, he turned into the Hulk at one point too. It's like how many appearances can we do in here? I mean, we got a shapeshifter, so yeah, he can turn into whatever other Marvel character, and we can put them all in here, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I thought that the show goes, having just watched the original show. Alongside this show, which was pretty interesting. It was interesting to see how this new show went to places that the original show could only hint at, whether for censorship reasons or because the show was aimed toward toward kids or whatever. There was a lot of stuff that if you were a fan of the original show and you're now grown up at 40 years old, you kind of always wished like could have happened.
Well, yeah, they definitely couldn't have like I was talking about the giant Wolverine claws. Like you wouldn't have saw blood on that or anybody getting killed or whatever.
Yeah. Well, like that in particular was sort of the big one, right? Because that was impactful, I think, because they never showed blood on the original show.
No,
they never showed.
They couldn't.
They never showed Wolverine actually.
I don't think he ever stabbed anybody even. Yeah.
No, he cut robots.
Well, it's like He-Man. It's like the original He-Man show. Like he shot like bolts out of his sword. Like he didn't actually cut anything. He just shot beams out of it. Because you couldn't.
Yeah.
Use
How do you explain the battle
like
damage, He-Man and Skeletor, if there was no stabbing and slashing?
That's true.
I don't know. It was the same. It was the same thing with the Turtles show too, right? They couldn't actually stab anything or, actually use their weapons for.
When you're reviving any old show that had swords, the coolest thing you can do is make them actually use the fucking swords.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they did it with X-Men in that one great and memorable moment. But another thing, after 5 seasons of the original show and now 1 season of this show of Charles and Magnus having their exalted conversations, their lofty philosophical back and forth. It was great to see Magneto.
Their inception.
No, it was great to just see Magneto tell Charles to shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, also that where it was like, oh wait, Charles is dead. No, he's not. He's actually on a different planet with the Shi'ar Empire or whatever. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like he lied to everybody, and I don't know. That
that's how the last one.
Oh, ended. Sure, that's the way it was in the original show.
He didn't actually die. He got
but everybody
he was
thought
about to die.
Yeah, and
then he was able to, with the help of Magneto, call to Lilandra to come take him home, so that take him to the other planet, so that they could use their technology to revive him. So he didn't die.
Sure.
At the end of the series, he got transported off the other.
But they acted like he did in the beginning of the new show. They did. Like the X-Men thought he did. The actual team. I don't know. It kind of had like that last episode kind of had a Twin Peaks moment to me. Like the end of season 2 of Twin Peaks, where all this stuff goes completely different. But then in the last episode, they bring everything back to the way it was. That's kind of how that was too. It's like they also kind of did that in Kevin Smith's He-Man show as well, where it's like, all right, everything's going to be different for the whole season, but then at the end we'll bring it back to the way it originally was. It's a technique that people do, I guess. That was the same thing with Twin Peaks season 2, because Lynch had left and they kept writing in a different way, and then Lynch came back and he brought everything back to the way it was before he left, and he's like, all right, whatever you're doing, no, we're back to where we were.
He's kind of a linchpin for the series.
Yeah. Well, he came back and changed everything. He's like, nope, all you did, done with those storylines. We're taking it back to how we were when I left. So, but that's
he came in and eraser-headed all their ideas.
Yep.
I want to say some more about the original show too. Having watched all, I think it was 50 or maybe 60
haven't you
episodes.
Dune enough?
Haven't you Dune enough?
Sorry, I'm done.
You mean you're Duned?
Yeah, on the original show, as far as I'll concede that there was definitely varying animation qualities. It wasn't consistent like the Batman animated series, but I think for the bulk of the show, I like the look. Like it's aiming to ape the comic book look, and I think that it succeeds. And even as I said before, got a little inventive and pushed boundaries, like trying to animate in 3D when they weren't using computers at all. They were just drawing in 3 dimensions and moving down hallways and doing kinds of cool things that were pushing their technology and their budget. And so I applaud them for that. The last 6 episodes, interestingly, took on a different style, to where one episode I was watching from one episode to the next, and it just looked completely different all of a sudden, to where it was so different to where I had to look up what happened. And they got their budget cut for the last 6 episodes of the final season.
Yeah.
And that animation style, which I think looked pretty cool, in the end, it was expensive to do all those, extra detailed lines and stuff to try and bring the comic book look to life. For the last 6 episodes, they had to scale it back to make it look like a regular Saturday morning cartoon. And so you think of a Saturday morning cartoon, like I'm talking like no real line detail. It was just, Beast was blue, solid
Fever
blue,
dream.
no fur or anything like that. And it was just like, more like a cartoon. It was disappointing. Some of those last episodes, that I would say there's probably two of them that had a good enough storyline. Like the one with Captain America was pretty cool, but still it looked like a cartoon. And then there's the four of them I could say were straight up. Three were bad. The last episode was good. I could kind of tell they at least picked up the budget a little bit for the last episode to send the show off, which was cool. But there was one in particular where like it was like almost like they were pasting some stuff together. Like they didn't have. It was like they forgot to animate Beast's head, and so they borrowed his head from a previous episode, which was the wrong animation style entirely. Like it was so jarring. In one scene, he's talking to Jubilee, and he's got a cartoon body, but then he has his old head from when the episodes looked good.
Probably do what they can to piece it together.
Yeah, they were doing what they could to piece it together. So yeah, it was fascinating to watch. I think overall the series was great. The old series was great.
There's like 76 episodes in the original series, so that's some dedication there for you to go back and that's like what, like 30, almost 40 hours worth of. No, I guess they're 20-minute episodes, so it's less than that.
Yeah, they're 22 minutes. Yep. So that took me like 5 weeks, 6 weeks to watch them all. Not too bad. And it's kind of fun to go and watch. We all remember those had different story arcs inside them. So it was almost like you're watching in this style on Disney Plus binging. It was almost like getting X-Men cartoon movies. Like I watched the Phoenix Saga in one go, and then the Dark Phoenix Saga, and then I enjoyed the one with Apocalypse, or the 4-episode arc with Apocalypse.
That one was pretty good. I remember, with the four horsemen.
This is one of the shows my mom would watch with us when we would watch it, because she would get invested in the storylines.
Yeah, I think the characters, were handled maturely for the time, and that I can see how that would appeal to adults.
She also watched Dragon Ball with us, so.
I mean, my
good taste.
I mean, my mom would read comics with me. Like we would share comics and all that, which was really cool. Just because she wanted to know what I was into, so she would read whatever comic books I had, and we would talk about like Spider-Man storylines and stuff like that. So it was more. I mean, she watched some of the Spider-Man stuff, even though like if they like continue on with the Spider-Man '90s show, like that show is not good. Like X-Men, sure, has its points, but that '90s Spider-Man is pretty bad. I've tried watching that again multiple times. Like the first season was okay, but when they get into like the Madam Web shit, like all of it's pretty not great. And if people all of a sudden start saying that it's great, they're fucking lying to you, because it is not. Trust me, I've tried watching that show a bunch of times, even on Disney Plus. And I liked that show. Like I recorded a whole lot of episodes of it when I was a teenager, but it's not good.
Well, I know it's not Marvel, but and we may have even mentioned it before, but man, I wish they would bring back Batman the Animated Series. Like that was a good comic show.
I mean, they've had movies of it, and now they're doing
The Mask of the Phantasm was the last one, right?
No, there's like 6 other movies after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
I had no idea.
After Mask of the Phantasm, because there's this
not theatrical, but
but there were a whole bunch of, because there was the Batman Superman one, and there was even one that came out like a couple of years ago. Like they kept doing them. Like were
they getting the same voice actors and stuff?
Yeah, same voice actors, same animation style and all that. Because they did like a Catwoman one not that long ago. Because Conan and I watched it at the old apartment. It was maybe it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But I mean, they've still kind of continued it, and now they're doing they're finally doing that J.J. Abrams one, which we'll see how awful that is. But I mean, it's still going to have some of the same animation in there. So
it would be a hard thing to bring back, without Kevin Conroy. And Mark Hamill has said he doesn't want to return as Joker without Kevin Conroy.
But if you watch any of the other Batman stuff that aren't specifically the Batman animated series, there's been a whole lot of different people doing the Batman voice. since Kevin Conroy.
So
So
what's
it's been.
Is Kevin Conroy passed away? That's right.
He died, yeah.
Yeah.
He died.
Yeah.
He died a couple of years
So it's not
ago.
like a bargaining chip. It's just like
Yeah.
Hamill saying like it's done.
Yeah. It's like saying, what's the point? You know, he doesn't want to retread old ground without his sparring partner.
But there's been a lot of, I don't know, there's been a lot of other Batman voices since then. I mean,
Does Kevin Conroy have a son?
I love Kevin Conroy, but I mean, there's been other Batman.
Yeah, they could certainly do a new Batman show.
Yeah, have Adam West do it.
Revive.
Yeah, he's dead too.
I got some news to
Damn
say
it.
if you want to step aside from the podcast for a moment. You know.
Adam West. Anyway,
they could bring a new Batman show, but I think to aim to do Batman the animated series again without Kevin Conroy and without Mark Hamill, because he wouldn't do it. It'd be like, you know, at that point I would rather just see another new Batman show with an equal amount of love and care in its own style. I think would be cool.
What about a spin-off with one of the characters with the same animation style, like if they did a Robin
Or that,
show?
sure. Yeah, if you don't see Batman or the Joker.
I mean, there was,
Or when you do like they're different voice actors, but it's like they're just secondary.
I mean, they already have a show like that. It's called Batman Beyond, and just have old man Batman not talk anymore. Like you've seen Batman Beyond, right? Like that was the same
That's very true.
animators, same voices, and but it was the.
I don't know why all I can think of is when Randy Macho Man Savage played Space Ghost Dad and Space Ghost.
Oh.
He was just Space Ghost with a beard.
I just saw that one recently.
But I mean, they could continue on the Batman Beyond and just have old man Batman not be in there, you know, because or old man, you know, or I think Joker died at some point, and that they made a movie of that too. Speaking of other things that are still in that same animation style,
It's called The Day the Laughter Died.
No, it's called like Return of the Joker or something, but it's really good. But I have that also. I have a lot of these. I have these movies on DVD. All these newer ones because I used to play them at the bar that I worked at. But anyway, we need to move on because I don't want a really long podcast here. Anyway, John, thanks for being on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around a lot later than you said you could.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
30
problem.
minutes.
It was fun. I'll see you next week.
You can listen to us talk
See ya.
about Animal Well. See ya. All right, so yeah, I just I know there's one game on here that both of us have talked about, which I'll save that for the end. I'll just say whatever else I played. Last week I said I didn't get to play any of the AW DLC stuff. We did our weekly Wrestle Chat on twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast, or you can find it on YouTube also. We did that. We played the new DLC Season 4 Samoa Joe. That was fun. And the newest rumor for AEW Fight Forever is that Season 4 is the end of seasons. That is the last DLC
Really?
for AEW. And they're moving on to AEW Fight Forever 2. That's the newest rumor that's happening. What was it? Lynch Reborn, he's a Twitter guy. He actually did a lot of like a deep dive stuff or whatever you call it. Found out a bunch of stuff before it came out as far as the DLC stuff goes for AEW Fight Forever. And
data diving. Data mining.
Data mining. There it is. That's what I was trying to find. Yeah. He data mined the DLC before that and found the characters before they came out and whatnot. He was saying that he thought it was the end. And other people are saying they think it's the end too because they're releasing the Ultimate Edition of AEW Fight Forever. Now people are saying like, oh, well, it's the Ultimate Edition. So that means the final edition, right? So that seems to be the thoughts on that there's no more DLC
That's
coming.
conjecture.
I feel like every time, because we've said this before on our YouTube show, like we've said it before where we're like, oh no, this is the last. And then like the next day they announce the next season. So it's like, there's still plenty of people to add to AEW Fight Forever. And we were kind of talking about that as well. It's like, well, if they can't just like stop support of it and then like 2 or 3 years later they do AEW Fight Forever 2 or whatever, they should still like, they should still keep this going in some way because people...
It should be evergreen until the next edition.
Yeah, because people aren't going to really care about the next one if you don't keep this one going. So I'm like, I feel like they're going to add something probably. I don't know. That's kind of... It's in the...
So I hear that like data mining stuff and I'm thinking like if there's an Ultimate Edition, maybe it's like them trying to bring more people into the fold and be like all future DLC is free, but then...
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to have to give a deal to the people that already own it.
Well, it's worse than that. It's like the Ultimate Edition is like $100. And like, even if you bought like, because you can buy the game at Walmart for like $10 for AEW Fight Forever. So you could buy it for like $10 and then get all the DLC, and it would still be like half of the price of the $100 Ultimate Edition or whatever. But that's just them trying to
Well, I meant
make more money or whatever
stuff as well.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think there's still going to be stuff coming. But we did actually play. There's a new thing added to Stadium Stampede that I didn't know about. There's like a football game in Stadium Stampede now, which that's like the Fortnite AEW thing that's in there, and that was pretty funny. Like we played that. I forget what it's called. It's not necessarily called football, but you'll start. It's like 4 versus 4. It's an 8-person 4-on-4 thing. One of you will start out with a football, and you can pass it to your buddies, and there's like a bunch of different goals inside of the stadium, and you get different amount of points depending on which one you do. And we basically played it for 4 or 5 times until we figured it out, and we finally beat the computer. And it was pretty funny, like just to like have us just kind of stumble through this new Stadium Stampede football mode that we didn't know about. So that was fun. I mean, like that's not the actual term of it. I should have written it down because somebody posted it on like the Fight Forever group that I'm on, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, yeah, that's the last I'll talk about Fight Forever. I know everybody's tired of me talking about that game, but
no,
but
it isn't.
Anyway, there's still I've said in this episode, but there's still more stuff for Stadium Stampede. So it was fun. We had a good time playing it. But I also had a good time playing a game called Little Kitty Big City, which we saw that game a whole bunch of times in various directs and whatnot. And the best way I would describe it is it's basically like a Untitled Goose Game, but with a cat. So I was already on board for that because I love cats, and they do.
Well, you played all the way through it, so
I did. I played all the way. I played all the way to the end in a couple days.
If that impression stays the same for you, then I think it's pretty accurate.
I played through it in a couple days, so I couldn't put it down. I had a lot of fun with it. I think a big thing about it is the animation is really good. Like the way they capture the cat's movements and all that, I think look really, really cool, and it's written really well. It's obviously people are going to compare it to like games like Stray, because that's
right.
Because it's supposed to be kind of like, oh, well, this is Switch's version of Stray.
I'll say it's a cat game.
I didn't play Stray, so I don't know about that, but I don't think that you can communicate with other animals in Stray, right? Did you ever play that one?
The small amount that I played Stray, it was just a platformer with a cheat button. When you wouldn't know what to do, you would hit a button and the cat would
do
these crazy acrobatics, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't call... Well, I mean, it's... You could even, like I said it on when I posted the credits on Twitter, you could even compare it to Breath of the Wild a little bit, because there's like a strength meter, there's like a grip meter, or even like you could, that sort of thing, where you can only climb for so long. Basically, you're a cat, you're in a city, it's a Japanese city too, which is pretty cool. Like it basically feels like you're in Tokyo or whatever, which I thought was pretty awesome. But the game starts off with you sleeping outside of the window of an apartment that's pretty high up, which don't let your cats do that. That's too dangerous. that already like made me be like, no, don't do that. Because I remember when we first moved into our apartment in Logan Square, and I accidentally left the window open, and Tallulah, our cat that we had, she was sleeping like outside of the window, and I was like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, no, get her out of there. She might fall down, like, because we had little like,
she was elderly by that point. So.
No, she was young. I mean, this is when we first moved there. I was in that apartment for 14 years. But I mean, but no, I mean, I don't want her like outside the window and to fall down. Anyway,
no, that's true. You don't want your cat outside.
Yeah. Anyway, it starts off with the cat sleeping outside of the window, and the cat like falls off of the window, and then like grabs onto a bird, and the bird, and then the bird like flies a little bit, and then you land on the street. And the idea is, okay, you fell out of your apartment. Now you have to figure out how to get back, and that's basically the story: is get back to your apartment. But you can also like I said, it's very much like Goose Game, where you can fuck with people. You can use your paws to trip people and to grab the things that they have. So there's interesting stuff with that. There's people walking around. They'll be carrying different things, like they'll be carrying like a cell phone or a briefcase, or like bagels or like a sandwich or whatever. And all this stuff kind of works into the story. So there's this whole thing about you can catch birds, and you basically take their leaves, or not their leaves. You take their feathers. And you can trade their feathers into this this raccoon god. There's a Tanuki in there, which is pretty awesome. There's a character called Tanuki, which we have a cat named Tanuki, so I like that. But it's basically like Tanuki has created the pet works or whatever she calls it, and it's basically like a fast travel system, and you can pay Tanuki in bird leaves to travel to different parts of the city, and you catch the birds and you get these leaves and you can feed Tanuki with them or give them to Tanuki to travel around. But the cool thing about you can't catch a bird if you try to just run up on the bird, you can't catch them. You're not quick enough. So what you want to do is you like trip the people and you steal their food, and then you put the food on the ground and the bird comes down and eats the food, and then you can come and capture the bird while it's eating the bread. So like there's all these different.
So are all the people holding food?
Oh no, not all of them, but some of them are. Like some of them are holding sandwiches, and when they drop the sandwich falls apart. So like you can grab the bread or the lettuce or like the tomato or the meat or whatever parts of it, and you can carry it around. Or like I said, or they're carrying. There's a bagel. One of them's carrying a bagel, and somebody actually does want a bagel that you carry to another thing. So there's all these like little missions involving
Quest-based things.
Stuff that you can do. Like, or you meet this bug that runs like this social media site for this cat that's really popular, and the bug's like, I need a cell phone, so you got to go and trip one of the people and steal their cell phone and bring it to the guy, and then he gives you your cell phone so you could take pictures of yourself, and there's all these like little things like that, but it's written really well. The characters are really cool. Like you meet all these different animal characters that you can talk to. There's like a duck that you have to bring all the ducklings back, and they're all doing really funny things. Like I found an arcade, and one of the ducks was playing Street Fighter, but it's like the duck version of Street Fighter. So it like has all the same animations as Street Fighter 2, but they're all duck characters. It even does the thing where like it punches the guy and then it pans up the building. It does all that opening thing, and you basically have to like. You end up dumping water on the arcade machine so it'll turn off, because the duck will be like, I'm not turning away from this game until you make it stop working. So like there's little like missions in there for that. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I played it till I got to the end. And it's like, the end isn't really the end. You get back to your apartment, and then you get the credits. And then you can basically, after that, you can continue on and go do the rest of the side missions and all that you haven't finished. So then you can just start off on the same. Well, you can continue from that windowsill you were on, and then you can go and do other things, and it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of different. It's like and there's little stuff where it's like like find the napping areas. There's like 7 different cat napping areas that you can find, and it's just like you can see the sun. There's like a sunbeam like just showing down in different areas, so you can nap there. Eventually you get the ability to nap wherever you want to, actually. But that's its own achievement. It's got these own little achievements in there. It's like find all the animals you can talk to. There's various stuff that will be ways that'll stop you. Like there's dogs that'll bark at you, but you can grab like a dog bone and like put it in their bowl and get them to not, so that'll open a pathway. It's like that sort of thing. I found a toy store as well. I found like a 7-Eleven. I found like an outdoor market sort of thing. There's capsule machines all over the place. The crow that you fly off of your apartment, off from your room, the one that you grab onto, that's a character as well. The crow collects shiny things, so you find little like metal pieces that are shiny that you can trade to the crow for different things. And what is it?
I like that.
You basically find fish. So you find a fish that you can eat, and that'll upgrade your climbing ability. And so there's different. The first time you do it, you give the crow the shiny stuff, and they'll give you a fish there. But there's also a guy that's fishing off the pier, and you have to steal his fish. Or there's also a lady who's cooking fish, and you got to steal that from her while she's watering her garden. There's like all these different things. Like I said, it feels a lot like the Untitled Goose Game, but you play as a cat.
Is there the whole part of like a cat stealing a fish at the beginning of what is it?
Twilight Princess?
Twilight Princess, yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that a little bit. Yeah, there is like some catfish stuff in that too. But and also it kind of reminded me of A Short Hike as well, which is another game I really, really liked. Just because of A Short Hike.
I still like that game.
Well, A Short Hike just has this like, little small, it's like a small goal. It's like get from here to here. That's kind of how this one is. It's like get back to your apartment. But there's all these things around that you can do. And there's all these different side things. And one of my favorite things too is there's this like jump mechanic where you hold B and you can kind of like move around this little reticule that has little cat paws on it, and you can kind of like you can kind of just like, measure up your jump. And I thought that was a really cool thing. Because, you have cats, like how they kind of like, how they sit there and they kind of look at like the upper spot and they try to figure out whether they can make it there or not.
Yeah.
Like my cats do that all the time.
Well, they're like, and it might not even be just like jumping straight up. It's like multiple like points of jumping, and they'll be like,
exactly,
there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I thought it felt like a really cool way for you to feel like maybe the way the cat would think about like, can I make that jump or not? And you could just hold the jump button, and yeah, it shows a little like arc and it shows little feet, and you try to measure up whether you can make it or not. And you can cancel it too. You don't necessarily have to jump that, but I thought it was a cool way to give you the feeling of playing as a cat and all that. And that's like part of why I was really into playing this game. I was like, well, I love cats, and the cat is very adorable. And you can unlock all these little different hats that you can wear, which are pretty funny too. And you can actually buy so after you get the fish from the crow will just hang out at different capsule machines. And you basically you pay the crow to get you a different hat from the capsule machine. And they do, and the writing's really good too. They make jokes about it. It's like I'm buying a hat from you, right? And they're like, no, you're just paying me to go get you a hat from somewhere. But I'm not selling it to you. Like it's got some really good creative writing in there. There's this one part where you meet this little dog that's, there's a couple different dogs that like will bark at you and scare you, but there's one dog that's nice to you. And that when they talk to you, you can choose different ways that you react to them. Like the way you'll talk back. And one of them was like, the dog said, "Oh, my whatever, my owner calls me like the squishy potato monster or whatever." And one of the answers is you can say, "Well, my master calls me a super potato monster also." And if you say that, the dog will call you like will refer to itself as Big Potato and you as Little Potato. And I thought that was a really cool thing. And it'll keep saying that through the rest of the game. So there's like really cool details like that, where like if you choose a specific response, it'll actually be incorporated into the dialogue after that. So yeah, obviously I really like this game. So high recommend on my part. It was the potato dog. But no, it's cool. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's very much, like I said, reminded me of a Goose Game and Short Hike, and a little bit of Breath of the Wild too with the climbing. Because you have to, the idea, you get the fish to upgrade your climbing ability, and eventually you can climb high enough to get back to your apartment. And I didn't even really know where I was trying to go. I was just exploring up top on the buildings, and I kind of accidentally found the apartment. I was like, oh, well, there's the end. But I wasn't trying to find it. I just happened to be there. But then once after the credits, I kind of went back through and got some other stuff. So I'll still keep playing it. But yeah, no, I thought it was a cool game. And apparently they sold over 100,000. And I think I said last week that I already saw it. I already saw it on like some of the most bought download only games. So it was already getting some buzz, before the game had even come out. Like people were already preloading it. And I saw other people that I knew that I had Switch friends playing it on there as well. So as other people had gotten around to it. So it's good stuff. You like cats, and you want to be a cat. And there is a button to meow too. Even though my cats didn't freak out about it. I know that people were getting freaked out about Stray, or people's cats were getting freaked out. I did I would hit the meow button, and I just look at the cats, and they kind of like they noticed it, but they weren't like trying to watch the TV or anything. They were kind of like, what is that sound? But I didn't keep hitting it because that would be annoying. But maybe they would have gotten
my cats only do that with bird. Like if I play YouTube videos of birds at bird baths, then they'll start to watch.
I guess there is bird stuff in here too.
There's totally like cat tube on YouTube. If you just want to watch your cats react to the TV, look up cat tube.
There was like an app that I got like years ago. That was something from it was sponsored by like a cat food company, like Friskies or one of those. And it was like a cat caller, and one of them was just, you would just press, it would either be like different meows or like bird noises and all that, and it always worked. I would use it on Tallulah, and I could just press the button, and she would definitely be like, "What the fuck is that? Like, what is it?" Especially the bird thing. And the cat one was, you would always get a reaction from her. And I got one of those with the fish where you could like tap it but she never gave a shit about that. but the noise one, that did it.
I've never tried the tap game with the cats. I know that is a thing. I think at least one of my cats would like that.
It was like when I first got the iPad and I was trying to see if because they would like touch it and like, you know, and then it would react to the cat paw. So I was like, well, maybe we can get a cat game on there. And I tried it, but yeah, she never really cared about it.
Mostly my cats just know the things that I touch a lot, so they'll like interact with those. So they'll like jump on the remote or the keyboard or
yeah. Well, also they'll get in front of you, like if you're sitting on the couch with your phone in front of you, or whatever. Our cats will like, well, especially Spooky will like jump in front of the phone to try to block you from looking at the phone, like that sort of thing, or he'll sit in front of the TV. Yeah, I only got like one other quick thing. Still playing Endless Ocean. They had the event over the weekend. I actually didn't really, I don't know, I didn't think the event was all that, I don't know, I wasn't really sure what it was supposed to be. Like, you only get a couple minutes to do it, and I guess you're supposed to see fish that you don't normally see, but I was still getting the same, like, unusual marine life or whatever. I did get to the, apparently the 99th thing of the mystery board or whatever, is you have to find this, like, singing fish and bring it to this, like, whatever, this circle. And I found that, but I wasn't high enough level to get the fish to follow me, so that was kind of annoying. But it's still like, I don't know, I still don't care about the story. I just like the regular base game of it. So I don't know. I think that part is fine. What was it? Switch Up did a review of it that I thought they did a really good job explaining it. You know, the game is very divisive, and they compared it to some sort of weird vegetable spread from England that people either love or hate, and that's basically how you could compare, Endless Ocean.
Who was
to
the
that.
reviewer for IGN? Was it Zach Ryan or who was?
No, it was Logan.
Oh, Logan, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
he did an update on the newest NVC where he was just like,
Yeah, no, I saw
I
that.
was even worse off.
I saw that Twitter.
It was even worse than I thought because people have gotten to where essentially you can't beat the game. There's a glitch.
Well, yeah, they actually are patching that. I saw that on there, but it's not everybody has gotten to that yet. He should have went to the subreddit that I did because people have actually have beaten it on there. I've seen pictures. But yeah, it's that was the 55. I heard about that, but they're actually patching it as well. So, but I haven't got because they said if you got it but it didn't register, then you have the glitch. But some people have gotten it and it did register and blah blah blah. But regardless, I played the Tetris 99 thing and I got that also. So.
Oh, you did. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I got the Tetris 99, and actually it goes through the end of Monday even. It goes all the way through till like 2 a.m. on
So I could still play it.
Well, no, that's 2 days ago. It's gone now. But no, I did actually find there's a little Tetris 99 Easter egg in the Endless Ocean event. There's these little squids that line up and they say Tetris, but you have to look at them at the right way. And I found that in a couple of the different event dive areas, so that was pretty cool. So it was really trying to bring you to both of them, like 99 trying to bring you to Endless Ocean, and Endless Ocean bringing you back to Tetris 99. So I thought that was a cool collaboration thing there. But aside from that, Animal Well, we've both played that game.
We have both played that game. So
You
I didn't
pay
have to
anything
actually
for it.
purchase it. Yeah, it was on PlayStation Plus, and
What was it? Little Kitty Big City might be on there too. I thought somebody was saying that it was on Game Pass, so I thought maybe it might be for free on PS5 also. I'm just saying if it is,
I was pretty stoked that I could just play Animal Well, like, because I really wanted to play it, but I was like reticent to buy it because, I'm in tight financial times currently, planning for a wedding and all that, and it's like buying new games doesn't sound particularly appealing, but I really want to play this game. And then you mentioned on the podcast, you said like, I think that might be on PlayStation Plus, and you were right.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention it somewhere I saw it on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
I really think that should be more in the general zeitgeist, but people, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about how you can just play it on PlayStation Plus, but it's on there. And yeah, so far, I mean, I like it a lot. I think I've played it more than you from what I can tell from your notes.
I think you got farther than me. Well, the last thing that I got was the Slinky, so I don't have that many things.
So the order of power-ups is entirely different for everybody, depending on what direction.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's something I wanted to mention for sure is I like how the game just drops you into it and there's like no dialogue whatsoever. It just shows like the 4 fires and that's it. But it doesn't even tell you need to go there. It doesn't tell you anything. It's very much reminiscent of like Metroid 1 on NES where it doesn't tell you anything, just drops you into there.
Yeah, and more recently like Tunic, because the language there's like a language for the game that you have to like understand as you play.
Sure, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, that was kind of like the instruction booklet thing that you find on Tunic, which was
which
free
you don't get in that.
Yeah, which that was free on PlayStation Plus too. But no, I like how it sort of it kind of encourages you to like sequence break and all that because you can get to, and I think I might have done that somewhat myself because once I realized that you could throw the frisbee thing off the wall and ride on it, I used it constantly.
See, I don't have a frisbee yet.
Different. You don't have the frisbee, the disc?
No, I don't have the frisbee yet.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I use that constantly.
But it's okay because I know about the frisbee, and I'm actually at the place where I get the frisbee. But
I got the frisbee pretty quickly. Where the ghost?
I died when I tried to get the frisbee.
Yeah, the dog. Dog ghost.
Then it reset, and then I lost my frisbee because it didn't save. Which is one of the things I want to say is.
Yeah, it has a weird.
I love the game, but the save system is weird because like it saves some stuff, but not everything, and it also will like. It'll take you back, but like some of your progress is saved, but it seems like kind of random what is and what isn't.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out because at first I was like, "Oh, cool, you die, but you still get all the things that you did, right?" But no, but I saw in your notes, and I noticed this as well last night that any of like the switches that you step on or you do whatever, those go back. So you
Even
have to do
all the
everything all
switches
over
correct
again.
and then go to a save point.
Oh, they still don't get
They still
pushed?
reset. Yep. They still reset. Yep.
But that varies.
Which was annoying to me because I went through and I did like this whole thing.
Well, that varies for different
because
there's different places.
Kinds of switches. Yeah, there's different kinds of switches as well.
Yeah, because a lot of them, there was only one place that I had gone to where I switched them and then died, and that one went back. But all the other ones stayed switched. So I thought that if I did it and then I went to a telephone before I died, then it might stay like that because that was the only one I noticed.
It doesn't
was different.
From
but
what I
don't
can
know.
tell.
Maybe it's just certain ones.
I'm at like I have several of the power ups, but the frisbee is actually the one that I'm on.
So what do you have? The only one I have is the frisbee and the slinky and the.
I have the slinky.
And the
I have
fireworks.
the yo-yo, and I have the fireworks, and I have the bubble wand.
But you didn't get the disc. But you went past there, right? Like that was one of the first things I saw.
I don't know.
Because there's the dog statue, and you grab the disc, and then the dog ghost chases you.
This is one of the goals of this
right
developer was to like have people having conversations because they went different ways. So
Yeah.
yes, we went different ways, and like you ran into that first. I just got the yo-yo, and after I got the yo-yo, I was like back to where I started. And I'm like, oh, well, I have the yo-yo now, and I can do all this new stuff. And then I got to where the disc was, and it was really hard. It defeated me. So I'm at a save point near there. So whenever I go back and play, I'm going for the disc. That's my next power up.
Yeah, you have to. Well, I guess you don't have to, but I found a replacement disc is what I did. So you take out the disc and then you put a different one in there. And I didn't even know that it was an item because that was the first item I ever got was the disc. And I thought you just needed it to, I don't know, put it in a computer or something.
Well,
I didn't know it was usable.
You do need it. I mean, like every item is like it's a Metroidvania, so everything is.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, but this was the first item that I ever got, and I didn't know that it was usable. I thought it was.
I got the fireworks first.
The fireworks. But I mean, the first item
that
I
got
it was actually a usable thing.
I got the slinky was the first thing I got.
It took me a long time to get to the slinky, but it was like.
And then I got the bubble one, and then I got the yo-yo.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say is that I didn't know that the disc was a usable thing. I thought it was just a disc that you put in a computer somewhere. I don't know anything about this game.
You didn't know it was like a frisbee.
I didn't know it was a frisbee. I thought it was a fucking.
Disc.
I thought it was a CD because it says disc, And then I put another disc, and I took it out, and the ghost came out and killed me. And I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'm not going to take this disc. So I just kept moving on. And then I found a replacement disc, and I'm like, okay, fine. Now I can take it back and do the other thing. And then I figured out. Then I figured out that
no,
it was.
I never found a replacement disc.
And then I figured out that it was that you could use it as a frisbee, but also you can ride on it. You can throw it off. You can throw it off the wall, and it'll come back, and you can jump on it. And it'll take you all the way across the world, where you may not be able to get there. So I thought I kind of secret.
The bubble one does a similar thing,
but I don't have that. I've only been using
vertical vertical.
Yeah,
And
but I've only been using. I'm just saying that's why I thought I kind of broke the game, because I've been like, oh, I want to go over there. All right, well, I'll throw the disc against the wall and I'll float over there.
Yeah, you got the disc first, but
yeah. So I thought a sequence broke it.
People talking about it. Yeah, this game is supposedly like so rich with secrets that the developer expects people to not find stuff for years.
Yeah, for this until like the second or third time all the way through.
No, for years. Like nobody's going to find these certain secrets until years from now. I don't know. I mean, I'm having a great time with it, and it's like learning the language of the game, because you have to, because there's no no instruction manual, and it's not, I compared it to Tunic, but it's not like Tunic. Like, you don't get like pages of some instruction manual that have some sort of cryptic instructions. You really just have to like suss out where you are and what you can do and try over and over. But the save system is kind of a pain in the ass, because it doesn't always save the stuff. And then also, like, if you haven't saved for a while, you might forget what you did between the last save and now. So
yeah,
a lot of times that ends up sending me on these different routes. So there's certain things I've seen in the game only once that I probably forgot about. Like, there's this whole puzzle that I've been to a few times that I still haven't figured out. It's like a water puzzle. And every time I end up back there, I'm like, okay, I'll change the water a little bit and like see if
is it the one where you have to move the thing and it'll show, and it'll go different ways? I did that. I did that one.
Did you solve it?
Yeah.
Damn it. No, I can't figure that one out.
There's
a lot of cool puzzles.
It's the one that makes the noise, right? It comes down, it's like, and then it shoots up in an arc.
I actually have.
Yeah, and you
have like switched it around and changed the notes and stuff. So
yeah, it shoots up in an arc, and then you can go to another one, and you can shoot that up in a different arc, right? You can it has well, it's in the same room, but it has two different ones. Yeah. No, I figured that out. It's actually, I kind of did it by accident to what it did, but it was. Once I did, I was like, oh, well, I guess that's where that goes.
So one thing that's really cool about this game, and this just comes from research I've done, and I think I heard about it on podcasts and stuff as well, but the person who made this game went out of their way to, once they I think it's once they had finished it, but they went out of their way to make it to where it's not running on any specific software, that it's able to run natively on a lot of different systems, to where hopefully you could literally, if you had a copy of this game, you could just plug a flash drive into any computer and play it. And that was sort of the goal of this game, to make it infinitely preservable for the future, as something that can survive, because it's not limited to a certain architecture or whatever in its programming language. I don't completely understand that, but I do like the forward thinking, and I do like the fact that it's a very deep game. I mean, it's obviously very deep. It doesn't seem like that on the surface, but the more you play it, the more you feel that way. And I've had to take a few breaks. Don't get me wrong. I've gotten frustrated with it and walked away from it a few times this week. And when I come back, a lot of times I just go a different direction, and then I find a whole bunch of new stuff. And
that's kind of,
I'm into it again.
That's basically how the game is built, and I like that, where it's if you get stuck one way, because there was and I haven't gotten to this, but I accidentally saw a video that showed the Slinky doing a certain thing in an area that I didn't know that's what you use the Slinky for. But I got there, and I was like, all right, well, I don't know how to do any of this, so I'm just going to go elsewhere. And then I found this whole other area that I had not explored, and then I found the Slinky. But also I've been trying to see as little of it as I can. I was trying to stay away from reviews and stuff, because I was trying to
same.
because I was trying to like figure it out on my own. So
I've only listened to audio reviews.
I was going to say I haven't really heard anybody.
Reviews.
I haven't really heard anybody talk about it at all on anything. So I've just been. I mean, I know that it got reviewed well. I know like Reb really liked it, and I saw like other people really liking it, like that sort of thing. And I know Janet played through it as well. But it was like
Janet is. Did Janet finish it? Because Janet,
she finished it.
Was pretty. I don't know. Not really as good about it.
She finished it. She said she got some help from Isaiah, but she did finish it. I saw that, but I just read what people said about it, but I was trying to stay away from videos of it because I really liked that like it wants you to just pave your own way and all that. That's why I wanted to stay away from. And I got like I said, I just accidentally saw an IGN thing that was like how to do whatever without the other thing, and I'm like, oh god, I don't even want to see this, but it's just like autoplayed and whatever,
I mean, I don't doubt, if it hasn't happened already, I don't doubt that there's going to be like a whole speedrun community for this game, because
oh sure, yeah,
everything about it, the way it plays, it's built for speedrunning. Like those sections that I got stuck on, there were certain sections I got stuck on where I'm like, oh, this is so tedious and long, but I would run through it 3 or 4 times, and then eventually I would just do it all automatically. Like I would just you just kind of learn the patterns, and because of that, it has a really nice old school feel. It's comforting in that way because you're always going to witness the same thing each playthrough. So, this game has a lot of potential, and I barely even brushed the surface, but I have several power-ups.
It does kind of remind me of, speaking of Tunic, it does kind of remind me of Tunic in the way that like you can find passages in every corner of each screen, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, you always got to look for
like I found a lot of like whatever secrets, like just you check everything because there might be a little area you can go to, and it's like, oh well, this is over here, and you didn't know about it.
So I don't want to ruin too much for you, but I think it's fair to at least let me talk to you about one boss battle. So I haven't
fought any bosses, but I did read.
I ran into a room and there's an ostrich.
I did read a review that said that was the worst part of the game was the boss battles, but I haven't done any of them yet.
I ran into this room and there's an ostrich, and there's like all these like holes on the floor.
I've seen the ostrich.
I didn't know there was going to be an ostrich.
I was on top of it. I saw it because there's an upper area. I walked past it and I saw.
No, you saw the flamingos. You didn't see the ostrich.
I think it's the ostrich because I did see a video review that showed that as a boss. Maybe
you can walk above the ostrich. I don't know. I never got to there, but the ostrich, it was like a boss that I actually got stuck on for a while today, and one of the coolest things is minor spoiler, but like you go down into these holes in the ground to get away from the ostrich that's trying to like peck at you.
Yeah, that's the
one.
You
go down into the holes and you go to hit the switches, and like all of a sudden you realize the goddamn ostrich has a long snake neck, and it can like go after you while you're underground and like weave through the passages and get its face to you if you're like not fast enough. So all of a sudden, like you go underground thinking you're safe, but you're not. You have to like be careful with like how far you are away from the head of the ostrich while you're underground, and then you have to make sure you come back up through the hole the ostrich is standing next to. And I just thought that was a really cool puzzle. Like I just never even thought of something like that, where you would go underground where you think you're safe, but you're not, because the enemy that's after you knows what hole you went down, and they have like a snake neck. And it was really cool. And I don't know. That's just a boss I really appreciated that I played today. And that's stuff like that is why I think I don't quite feel it yet. I hear a lot of people saying this is one of the best Metroidvanias ever and all that, and the different media I'm looking at. I think it's pretty great so far. It's going to take me a little bit more time to dissect it, but I actually look forward to it. I actually want to take my time with it because I don't want to be like, I beat Animal Well. Like, I finally just don't even care about.
I did hear I heard it's a little on the short side too.
Yeah, and it probably is.
But I think it wants you to go
based on how many of the.
I think it wants you to go through it multiple times.
Based on how many of the power ups I have now, I think I'm probably somewhat close to the end. But at the same time, I'm like, I already like have different ideas for how I would do things from the beginning. Because it's all about learning the like visual language of the game. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at first, but now when I go back to the beginning, I'm going to know what's happening, what switches I need to hit, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard that Animal Well was reviewed really, really well, and I, and like that and Little Kitty Big City came out at the same time, and I was like, well, Animal Well is probably going to be the one that might like take over me. So I was like, I want to play Little Kitty first, and I did really like that. And I played it till I finished it, and then I got Animal Well, and I played that for a while, but then I got fucking X Slayers whatever Vengance, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this game till I'm done with it. So I'll get back to Animal Well at some point. But
I will say there's another game I've been going back and forth.
That dumb FPS game was like taking over for me.
I've been going back and forth to Animal Well. When Animal Well is like frustrating me, there's another game I've been playing this week that I just kind of go to and relax to. Not really relax, but try to make some stuff. But I don't know. Are we on me now?
Yeah.
Are we done talking about Animal Well?
Yeah. Let's move on.
All right. Well, Balatro, still play it. That's the end of that.
You were still playing Balatro, but not on. But
I still play it
on both. On which you're
I
playing
play
it
on both.
You're playing it on iPhone. You're playing it on PS5. You're playing it on Switch. You're playing it everywhere.
Well, when I play it on iPhone is just because I'm playing like the remote play. I'm playing it either on the PlayStation or the Switch. So yeah, still chugging on that game. Love it. It's math incarnate as a video game, and I love it.
I haven't played it. I haven't played it since we talked last. I haven't gone back to it. But I also it's like my birthday week, so I was trying to spoil myself a little bit on the games. That's why I got Little City and Little Kitty and Animal Well and X Slayers, and I'll probably get PO'd too.
Damn, you getting birthdayed off. The other game I was playing this week was Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, which
I played that game
to me for years and years.
I got it on.
I mean, we've documented proof on the podcast.
It's on the podcast. Yeah, I
recommending that game to me for years. I started it this week.
Well, I bought it. What are you playing it on? On PS5?
I'm playing on the. I'm also playing on PlayStation Plus because it comes with it, so it's like I might as well just play it there, and I can play it like on my phone up in bed.
Oh, you can. Are you playing it on Delta or no?
No.
Oh, because
I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5, but I can use my PlayStation 5 to go upstairs.
Oh, is it included? It's on the level?
Yes.
Oh, and also I found out that Little Kitty Big City is actually not available for PS5, so no, you cannot get it on the PlayStation
I didn't think it
Plus.
would be. I actually looked into it, but I was hoping you had.
Weirdly enough, it's only available for Xbox and Nintendo. No PlayStation though yet. But maybe when it does, it'll be on there. But it's a good game. I mean, well, yeah, Phoenix Wright. I think we both probably played the demo on iPhone when the app was on there. You probably played the beginning of it, or was
I didn't love the demo. Like the demo, turned me off to the game.
Oh, I really liked the demo on iPhone of Phoenix Wright. But I bought it on the Japanese eShop for Switch. Because it came out much earlier and it was in English, and I was like, oh my god! And I got it 6 months before it came out in America. But I never fully completed the first part of the trilogy because I loved it, and then I got to what the original end was, and then there's an extra thing that I just couldn't get into after that, and I kind of fell off. But I loved all of it to what the first ending was, and then it's here's an extra episode, and I didn't like that extra episode, and that's as far as I got. But no, I loved it for however many, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 that they did. It's written really well. The character's really cool.
I'm on the 3rd episode. I don't know what that means for the actual games or whatever, but I did find it somewhat, obviously it's a good TV show or whatever, a good comic or a good story where the person who's giving you the best advice on your first case dies.
Oh yeah. She,
but then
the her niece shows up or
investigating
whatever.
her murder.
Yeah.
It's her sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's a younger version of her, but it's still her,
Essentially, it's a younger version of her, though. Yeah. And I don't know. It's so much more fun than I thought it would be as a visual novel and as a.
It's kind of a point and click.
It's a puzzle game. It's definitely a puzzle
novel.
game.
Yeah.
I like how the judge acts different depending on who's on the stand. I don't know. Everything about it is just really cool. And I'm not that far into it, but I just really love the how the characters kind of like when you're cross-examining them, they start to break down and like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
it's
The
cool.
animations when you break somebody is so cool. Like that's a really, really good.
But I don't know. I love this game, and I knew I would. I always knew I would. I just like wasn't in a huge hurry to play it because I knew it was going to be mostly reading, which it is. But it looks so good on the TV, and yeah, I love playing Phoenix Wright on the PlayStation 5, and I can play it upstairs in my bed with my
the remastered version. Well, I mean,
which is totally funny because I was thinking about
the
it
DS
earlier.
game, the DS game on Switch and then PS5.
I did mention it to Shauna this week, but I was like, it's kind of funny that like it used to be like, that I wanted to play portable games, so I'd use my Wii U to like play it on portable mode. But now I'm using my PlayStation to play on portable mode, and I could do that with my Switch, but I don't know. For whatever reason, it's funny to like play PlayStation 5 games in portable mode and feel like I'm back in the Wii days, even though it's not Nintendo, or Wii U days, even though it's not Nintendo. But I fucking love it. I love playing these kind of like these are great games for that. Lag doesn't matter, and it's like you're just mostly just playing through a interactive book kind of. But I love it. I mean,
23 years later, finally get around to Phoenix Wright. 2001. The first one was a Game Boy Advance game, even. The very first Phoenix Wright. It wasn't even a DS game. It was a Game Boy Advance game.
I love it so far. And, I'm not going to lie. I was getting a little, like, I was hitting a bit of a tedium point, but then I could go back to, go back to
Balacho or Animal Well, yeah.
Yeah. And so those two games that game's a really good game to just kind of bounce back to when I'm like kind of frustrated with whatever I'm playing.
My favorite thing from Phoenix Wright, the first game, was, have you gotten to the movie set yet, where you're like on the TV show?
Nope.
Yeah,
I am on the TV show now.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode. I think
the first, it's like the samurai who stabbed.
Yeah, the samurai TV show. Now. That was probably my favorite.
That's the
one
one.
Out of
that's
all
the case I'm going through.
Yeah, that one was really cool. I like that one a lot. Yeah, and I was really, really into it. But then there was that extra thing where I was like, yeah. But hopefully, yeah, you keep doing it. I never beat that game. Well, I didn't. Apparently, I got the original ending, the Game Boy Advance ending, but there's extra stuff in the remastered version. All right, yeah, that's what we've been playing. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. And you can hear all of our extra episodes on there. Our expansion pack and WART Radio is on there, and you can get videos of us early, and you can listen to the episode without the ad break and all that stuff on there. If you're on the $5 level, you'll see videos of us early. We post them right after we record, unedited. There's probably an extra 20 minutes that I normally cut out of there that you can fully experience, like right when it happens and all that stuff. And if you want to see me play AEW with Shake and Joe and Logan and all them, go to twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast. And you can also find the VOD on youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. The next day will be on there. And you can also find our podcast on there as well on YouTube, just with a static image. But people watch it on there, so I'm still putting it up there.
I think it's important for me to mention that as of June 10th, I will no longer be on Twitter. That's when I am leaving Twitter.
Because Nintendo's leaving Twitter.
I am officially leaving Twitter.
You did say that last week. So
I stand by that. I've actually made a statement on my Twitter saying that. So I stand by it.
Well, I mentioned it on the wrestling thing, but I would just like Nintendo to just let me post to Blue Sky or something. I don't want to post to Facebook. Just give me an alternative, damn it, where I can post my beat of the weeks, because I don't want to put them on Facebook. I want somewhere else to put it. So
no, you can do them. You just got to go through the process.
I know, but I hate the process is so annoying. I hate it so much.
I'd rather do that than be on Twitter anymore.
Well, before June 10th, you can find Jeremy at JMaxStack on Twitter, and you can find me at Nintendo_Domain on Twitter before the June 10th, whenever that happens. And you can find whatever. You can find you can find NintenDomain on Facebook and wherever, all these places. But yeah, this is 422. We've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Bukowski.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time. Break the sound barrier with that one.
Shut up.
Oh yeah,
And then attack him. Yeah, that was great.
it was. I think you like broke your mic when you said that.
Yeah, you're.
Oh,
I
did
thought something happened.
You're-
I'll say it again.
You're shut.
I
when
thought
you said-
Magneto like stepped in.
Yeah, when you said shut up, the noise sound, the sound changed from where you're at.